Marion have a hydrotherapy pool now on site. Contact Physio Extra Marion or head to physioextra.com.
Attorney General Vicky Chapman is set to learn her fate today. SA Governor Francis Adamson will be asked to sack Ms Chapman by Speaker Dan Cregan after Parliament passed a no-confidence motion against her. It all went down on North Terrace yesterday afternoon after an inquiry found Ms Chapman had a conflict of interest when she rejected a port project on Kangaroo Island. Stephen Marshall is supporting his deputy. A woman from Hawthorne Dean is the latest fatality on the state's roads. The 70-year-old was killed after her car collided with a Stobie pole at Millicent yesterday. She was the sole occupant in the vehicle. The state road toll for the year now stands at 88, 11 more than at this time in 2020. It's a happy Friday across the border. Victorians are waking up with almost all COVID restrictions lifted overnight. All caps on venues have been scrapped and there are no limits on private gatherings. Premier Daniel Andrews says the fact that almost 90% of eligible Victorians are now fully vaccinated shows the state is united.
We are united in our belief in the power of doing something yourself for yourself and everyone else. The acts of kindness, the acts of compassion, the acts of solidarity with each other, supporting each other, getting vaccinated for me and my family, but for families I will never meet. That's special. That is really special.
A COVID-19 booster shot could be required for Australians looking to travel overseas. A growing list of countries has mandated the third jab and introduced expiry dates for their equivalent of our vaccine passports. Experts have made a big leap in understanding a life-threatening bleeding disorder. Nine's Gabriella Rogers reports.
Haemophilia is an inherited disorder which affects about 3,000 Australians. It can lead to uncontrolled bleeding and crippling joint disease due to a mutation in their gene. Experts say patients often need 2 to 3 injections a week to help their blood to clot. But a 3-year trial of a gene therapy involving 18 patients has shown that a one-off infusion can produce sustained benefits. Sydney's RPA was involved in the trial, which recorded a 91% reduction in the number of bleeding events. Experts say the results, published in a top medical journal, are a step forward in the quest for a cure.
80 years since HMAS Sydney was sunk by a German vessel off WA, the unknown sailor has been identified. His body washed up on Christmas Island 11 weeks after the attack. He's now been identified as 21-year-old Thomas Welsby Clark. Breaking the cycle of domestic violence against women and children is the focus of today's White Ribbon Day. We're being encouraged to ask ourselves how we can make a change. White Ribbon Australia's Alan Ball says men need to think about what they can do to end family violence.
What we're calling on all men to think about are the changes they can make in their communities and workplaces to be part of the solution, not just on one day, but every day.
And one of the most anticipated albums of the year is out today. Adele's 30 hits streaming services at midnight. Now to 5AA Sport.
This November, grab the Purple Label 2-litre Farm Fresh Fluorio milk to support breakthrough mental health research.
And it's good morning to Tom Wren.
And a very good morning to you as well, Mel. We're going to start with some football, and Adelaide forward Taylor Walker is set to return to training more than a month ahead of schedule. The Advertisers reporting he'll come back next Wednesday in a bid to hit the ground running with the younger players. Walker has served 3 matches of a 6-week suspension for making a racist slur during a SANFL match late last season. Meantime, Shane Mumford could come out of AFL retirement for a second time. That's after nominating for the national draft. The 35-year-old ruckman nominated in case GWS needs him as a backup for the second half of the season. To tennis now, Australian Ash Barty will finish the year as the world number 1's women's tennis player for a 3rd consecutive time. Nine's Craig Gabriel reports.
Even though Barty decided to end her year early, finishing things after the US Open and skipping the year-end championships, it was never really in doubt that she would be pipped at the post for the year-end number 1 spot. This is the 3rd consecutive year that she's claimed the year-end number 1 and joins the like of Stephanie Graf, Chris Evert, Serena Williams and Martina Navratilova to achieve that. And her 95 weeks at number 1 is the 5th longest on the computer rankings.
Yeah, it's great stuff. Meantime, Alexander Zverev has secured his place in the semis of the ATP finals, downing Herbert Hurkacz in straight sets. And the Western Sydney Wanderers have signed former Manchester City and Everton midfielder Jack Rodwell on a 1-season deal. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
A top of 22 today with a late shower or two. A shower or two tomorrow, 18. Sunday, partly cloudy and 21. Right now, it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6:06, good morning to you. Welcome to a Friday on 5AA Breakfast. We're going to have a lot of fun this morning, and if you're on the live stream, you might have a bit of an insight into where the origins of that fun are, but we'll get to that shortly. Coming up today, big program. We're going to speak with some of these major venues around Adelaide that have announced almost in chorus yesterday that they would all require double vaccination for entry. The Adelaide Oval for the Ashes, the Zoo, the Entertainment Centre. There's a host of these. We're going to speak with the Zoo and the Oval people after 7 o'clock, just to get across the detail of what it will require of you and how they arrived at that decision. We're going to catch up with Chief Medical Officer Professor Nicholas Spurrier as well after 7:30. We want that to be the kind of conversation that you can be a part of as well. 82230000. We've had some great listener contributions to our medical experts on all sorts of COVID-related stuff, and we want that to be a chance for you to ask questions of the November 23 plan that the Health Department came out with earlier this week. And then later in the morning, a brand new Sports Australia Hall of Fame entrant, our very own Anna Mears is going to join us. Looking forward to that. Responsible, I think, one of the great Olympic memories, her gold medal in London. David Penberthy, good morning to you.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, listeners. It is also Meat Tray Friday. We'll be getting to that shortly. But, yeah, I'm scratching my head a bit about the Ashes rulings by SA Health involving crowd numbers and masks and you name it. Like, what's the difference between the Adelaide Oval and the MCG and the Gabba and the SCG in terms of the health threat? What if we're all using the same health advice?
And we're all using the same vaccine.
We're all using the same vaccine. Is there a different strain of it going around in Adelaide? Well, actually, at the moment, there isn't a strain of it going around in Adelaide, full stop.
We look like a total outlier all of a sudden.
Yeah. But, this is purely an SA Health decision. There's no Grant Stevens involvement on this one, is there?
No, this is the venue negotiating with SA Health about a COVID management plan. This is the direct conversation they have.
There's clearly no input from the government, because the government...
They don't do input.
Not on this sort of stuff, they don't.
They've got other problems to worry about at the moment. Maybe their attention's been diverted.
This government, I'll say, it's got the smell of death about it.
It feels like it's in disarray.
Yeah, rightly or wrongly.
Yeah, that's right.
I know there was a dissenting report yesterday, and there's been a lot made of that by the Liberals in the government, who, all the ones who think Vicky Chapman's done nothing wrong. It just looks like amateur hour, though. Like, in hindsight, why didn't you just say, for God's sake, there's no way I can get involved in this. Let's get someone else to do it. The way government works, too, like, this might sound like hackable, but it's not. She could have said, hey, listen, Dan or, whoever, make someone the acting planning minister. You have a chat in the corridor, you say, look, there's this port. People on KI going nuts about it. I shouldn't get involved. Here's some people you can talk to.
Yes.
And you sort it out. I've got to run 1,000,000 miles from this one. They would have got the same result.
Yeah. I actually find the whole thing staggering because it's and we've said this on the program before, it's a level of perceived conflict that I think anyone who's been a part of anything from the school parents and friends committee to the local sporting club to anything would be across. There are some things you go, you know what, someone might get the wrong idea about this.
Yeah, totally.
And look, maybe they do in this case. Look, maybe what Stephen Marshall and Vicky Chapman say are right. You've all got the wrong idea. It just looks terrible. It looks terrible, and anyone with any level of experience, I mean, there's very few that have as much as Vicky Chapman, should have been across the fact that this would look awful, and it stinks.
I wonder if there's a problem within the government that they don't have there's no resident hard ass who says to the Premier, hey, mate, listen.
Yeah.
This is nonsense. No one's going to buy this. Like, do they have any no men working for them? Sorry, I'm not trying to put you on the spot, because these are probably people who you know from your old job. But
no, I think it's...
sitting as an outsider, I just look at it and think, who's the sort of bloke with ice in his veins who can actually go up to the Premier and say, or to the Deputy Premier and say, have you people thought about this?
Yeah. The person is Rob Lucas, but it doesn't happen where Rob goes to them. The nature of that relationship is you go to the old sage when you need advice. And I think that's part of it. It's not coming...
I don't reckon they went to Rob on this one.
No, I don't think they did. The feedback's not coming back
Maybe
the other way.
Maybe he was having a well-earned day off that day. Seriously.
It's an absolute dog's breakfast at the moment. But,
but meanwhile, back to things people actually care about. Why? So what's our capacity? 35,000. Yes. How do they even come up with this number?
Oh, that's the safe number. Are you suggesting we could do 35,001?
Yeah, I am.
What are you, mad?
I am.
What are you, mad?
I reckon we might even be able to do 36,000.
Oh, what are you, stare down COVID?
We've got the most onerous restrictions. We've got the lowest crowd, and we've got no COVID.
Yeah, it's a recipe for success.
That's right. Good to see that we're getting the state moving again.
We're going to get into all that. We'd love your thoughts, of course, because, again, these are restrictions and decisions that affect absolutely everybody listening. 8223 You can text us on the Telstra Storm Barker text line. It is Meat Tray Friday, though, and Meat Tray Friday is dedicated to having a good time. This morning, St. Meat award-winning quality butcher have all your Aussie barbecue needs this summer. Come and see their friendly staff, North Haven or Semaphore. So they've got the North covered, beautiful parts of Adelaide. Here's what we're asking you, and people on the live stream may have noted this. We are wearing T-shirts today.
Are we ever?
We are wearing
stand up
Tom Rehn fan club T-shirts, and so in fact, I think Brooklyn on the live stream can get a shot of Andy and Ruby at the production booth. There they are. You can see them there waving with their Tom Rehn fan club tops on. These have been provided to us. David's modelling. You really took the things from our photo shoot earlier this week to heart. That's an expert pucker that you've got going there.
Doing a bit of blue steel.
Yeah, that was
the Tom Rehn fan club.
So these T-shirts were given to us courtesy of the Port Pirie branch of the MFS. There's an MFS at Port Pirie because of the smelter.
As it's known too.
There you go.
I only found that out yesterday. Port Pizza.
There's one out there, and they're big fans of Tommy Rehn. So they've made us all custom T-shirts this morning. Yours has Read the Australian written on the back. Mine,
is it really?
Yeah.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, it does.
We should say Read the Tizer. I mean, I might get paid by the Oz, but, you know, my heart beats true for the Tizer.
David, the Port Pirie guys listen very closely. Mine has...
Didn't know we had any Oz readers in Port Pirie.
Cementing my reputation as a complete corporate shill, mine has Dave Potter Glenelg BMW on the back and RAA.
You'd do anything for a free BMW, wouldn't you, Will?
You'd be surprised. Or maybe you wouldn't.
No.
We thank them, but they got us thinking, because these guys, the Port Pirie MFS guys, absolutely love Tom Rehn. They love the sports show in the morning. So we wanted to ask you for the meat tray this morning. What fan club would you start? Or rather, start one live on the air. Call us and start the fan club. 8223 0000. Telstra Storm Barker text line 0448 08 1395. Whatever it might well be. Think laterally. Start a fan club. Doesn't need to be for a person. Could be for a thing you like doing. An event. A time. Anything. We don't want to restrict you.
I've got so many rattling around in my head. I might have to keep my powder dry on this one.
Well, let's see what the listeners have to say. 8223 0000. 14 after 6. News headlines in a moment.
For 37 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip. Now that spring is here, Steinborner Automotive Gawler has stocked up with 40 hand-picked 2018-19 ZB Commodores. Choose from a range of factory edition or special black edition with black roof and black wheels. That's 2018 and 2019 ZB Commodores from $22,990, all with a balance of factory warranty. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
Wouldn't it be nice if talking to your loved ones about mental health was as easy as making a nice cuppa? Flurio Milk Company has partnered with Breakthrough to raise money for mental health research. Throughout November, Flurio Milk Company are donating 50 cents from every 2 litre farm fresh milk to Breakthrough. So let's get behind them and drive change. Look for the purple label and help make a difference. Search Breakthrough to learn more about their powerful research.
Peter Shearer Menswear is the brand with the brands. For more than 50 years, our experience has put us ahead of the latest fashion trends. And as the largest independently owned menswear brand in South Australia, we'll match any genuine price on identical items. But most importantly, our staff are helpful and understand all body shapes are unique. The Peter Shearer Menswear commitment to ensuring customer satisfaction means we give right and honest advice. Always. Peter Shearer Menswear, Rundle Mall, Glenelg, Mount Barker, Gawler and online.
Sportsmed Foot and Ankle Clinic is growing with orthopaedic surgeon Dr Tom Fisher joining our Stepney Healthcare Hub. Here's Dr Claire Bolton.
Sportsmed isn't like other clinics. We have our own hospital with specialists, doctors, physios and podiatrists together in one state-of-the-art location. This makes life easier for our patients because their appointments can happen in one place. It also lets us diagnose issues quickly, leading to high-quality, cost-effective care.
All your treatments, all your care, one place. Sportsmed. Visit sportsmed.com.au.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen with great deals on demos right across the range, all ready to drive away. And if you're impressed with our selection of cars, you'll love our service department with next day servicing, complimentary loan cars and breakfast or lunch on us. Why? Because when you're Adelaide's newest Volkswagen dealer, you want to give more. Visit mawsonlakesvw.com.au to see the range online. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years.
Gliderol.com.au.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
17 after 6. We'll get to the news headlines in a moment. We want to hear about some fan clubs first for the meat tray today. We're asking you to start a fan club live on the air. We've got the Tom Rehn fan club T-shirts on. We want more T-shirts being sent into the building, frankly. Brad in One Tree Hill, good morning.
Yeah, morning, Dave and Will. Yes, I know I'm getting on and showing the age, but when I go to a shop and I pay cash, I get a weirdo look from everybody. I'm paid cash. And then they always ask me, do I want a receipt? Being old-fashioned, I want a bloody receipt. So I'm going to start a club up called I Want a Bloody Receipt. Put it on a T-shirt so I don't have to keep asking for one.
The Give Me a Receipt fan club.
Yeah. Fans of receipts.
Fans
I like
of
that.
receipts.
What do you do with the receipts, Brad? Because I never take them. I've never take them. Do you?
Well, once again, being old-fashioned, I stick it in my wallet in case I go to another shop, and then I've got to explain where I bought these oranges or where I'm from.
Yeah, that's true.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough.
And also, at home, I've got a big long nail about 6 inches long on a piece of wood, and I jam it on top of that so I keep all my receipts.
Yeah, okay. Well, that makes sense. Suppose if you ever need to take anything back. Yeah.
Very well organised, Brad. I don't mind that. Let's go to Evanston Park. Paul, what fan club would you start?
Yeah, good morning, boys. It's been a pretty tough week for South Australia, having, remembered a couple of great people. But I'd want to start the KG fan club because I don't think you know so much. So many people in South Australia admire him and respect him and enjoy his company in the car.
Yeah, I reckon that's a great call, Paul. Very sincere,
Paul.
mate. Very kind of you to ring.
That would be the humblest bloke with a fan club in history, too.
Speaking of
the
Ashes,
right now, he doesn't even know what we're talking about and he's blushing somewhere, KG.
He's on the front page of today's paper as well. Fired up about the crowd numbers for the Ashes. That's good that he had a crack about that.
It is good. All right, let's get to some news headlines. We'll take some more Metro Friday entries in just a moment. The South Australian Governor will be asked to sack Deputy Premier Vicky Chapman after State Parliament passed a vote of no confidence against her. Speaker Dan Cregan will seek an audience with Francis Adamson today to present the motion, which passed Parliament 23 to 22 votes. An inquiry found Miss Chapman had a conflict of interest when she vetoed a major port project on Kangaroo Island. We'll be talking more about that.
I think there's a snowball's chance in hell that the governor's going to get involved in any of this.
No.
I think it's, and I actually think this part of it looks like a silly little stunt. What's the constitutional crisis part of it? It doesn't affect the running of the state.
It is convention.
It's a judgment call by the Premier.
Yes, I agree. I don't think she's not getting. She's not getting sacked or resigning. I think, but she may be suspended from Parliament.
Well, not by the governor though. It's not
the governor's not sacking her.
The governor.
No. and the Premier's not.
See, I thought they were Republicans in the Labor Party. Why do you actually go to the governor to get the governor to action? They should make it all about the Premier.
Yeah, they tried to in the motion, didn't they? They tried to.
That bit got chopped out. But again, it got chopped out because it was bloody stupid.
Yeah.
Dan Van Hulst-Pelican, I watched the whole thing yesterday. He said, this isn't going to happen. But I actually thought his take on it was really quite refreshingly honest.
He's got a good straight way of talking, Dan Van Hulst-Pelican, doesn't he?
But yeah, he does. So is it Labor's position that the Queen's representative in North Territory should resolve this? I thought they were still upset about that from 1975.
No, the Labor's position is 2 weeks ago we set out our 7-day media plan for what it was going to look like. And
yes,
day one was the release of the report. Day 2 was calling on Vicky Chapman to resign. Day 3 was the motion in Parliament. Day 4 was the governor thing.
They seemed to know too yesterday in advance quite comprehensively what was going to be in the report, didn't they? Because they had all their ducks in a row.
They certainly did. Very well organised, wasn't it?
Exactly.
Okay, now, this is interesting. Most of Victoria's COVID restrictions have been dropped, with the state due to reach 90% fully vaccinated this weekend. So under the new changes, caps on the number of vaccinated customers in venues, no more. Limits on private gatherings, gone. Dance floors, open. It's great news for major sporting events. Boxing Day Test, the Australian Open, they'll have full crowd capacity, no restrictions there. Masks will still be required in retail and hospitality settings for just a month. And they remain mandatory on public transport and in places like hospitals and aged care, which you understand. But freedoms for the unvaccinated have been reduced further, so they're now locked out of all non-essential shops. Here's Premier Dan Andrews.
We are united in our belief in the power of doing something yourself for yourself and everyone else. The acts of kindness, the acts of compassion, the acts of solidarity with each other, supporting each other, getting vaccinated for me and my family, but for families I will never meet. That's special. That is really special.
You know, one weird thing in Victoria, so you have to be doubly vaccinated to buy a pair of shoes, but you don't need to be doubly vaccinated to go into an aged care facility. There's all sorts of weird
That's odd, isn't
oversight.
it? Well, that's when you draw big arbitrary lines on essential and non-essential.
Anyway, that's their problem. Concentrate on ours.
Yeah, that's right. The search for William Tyrrell's remains is entering its 5th day on the New South Wales mid-north coast. Police will focus their search efforts in bushland just 1k from the Kendall home, where he was last seen 7 years ago. The state road toll has risen again following a crash in the state's southeast. A car hit a Stobie pole on the Princes Highway at Millicent yesterday afternoon. The 70-year-old female driver from Hawthorndean died at the scene. There have been 88 deaths on South Australian roads this year compared to 77 this time last year. The weather today, top of 22, possibly up to 2 mils of rain. Remember Saturday we kept going on about up to 25 mils. Well, it's down to 8. Down to 8. Maximum of 18, 2 to 8 mils.
It always felt like 20 was overs.
Yeah, I think you're right.
The range was crazy. Although, as we said at the start of the week, it's hard with these weather patterns. It's because of La Nina, I think.
Yeah, it's
or the... what is it? The North Sea dipole or something like that?
Yeah,
no, sorry, I was thinking of that North Sea bubble. What was that? That was an economic thing, wasn't it? Will? I don't know. I'll shut up now.
I don't know. I just read the numbers.
Yeah.
21 the top tomorrow. On
where's
Sunday.
Brett Gage when you need him?
Exactly right. He's coming up about 15 minutes time to clean up this mess.
Come BG, give us a hand.
Monday 24, Tuesday 22 with again 3 mils of rain. Wednesday 21-1, Thursday 19 and 2. Warm weather still not on the forecast. 24 minutes after 6, Tom Rehn, the subject of the Tom Rehn fan club, will be in the studio right after this.
Drive your business further with a Renault Traffic van, like Daniel from Team Tank Logistics.
We rely on Renault Traffic to deliver freight safely. They're really fuel efficient and we get plenty of Ks out of a tank.
Renault Traffic from $39,990, drive away.
It's my business, it's my van.
The time is now. AC8 O'Connell brings new life to this landmark location. An opportunity to tell a new and unique story. A connected community with arts, culture, sport and entertainment on your doorstep. 2, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments with unparalleled views to the city, hills, coast and beyond. The long-awaited display suite is now open, showcasing the incredible lifestyle on offer at AC8 O'Connell. More than an address. AC8 O'Connell, North Adelaide.
Now, nothing beats a road trip, and for some of us, it's been a while since we hit the road, so here's a travel tip.
Get your car checked before you go at one of the 450 independent RWA approved repairers. A small fix now might save you a lot of bother down the road.
Don't forget to sort your tyres if yours are on the bald side, and RAA Road Service. They can test and fit a new battery before you go.
They certainly can. They can do everything. We were helped out the other night by RAA.
Did you?
Dodgy. We Kate had locked the keys in the car somehow.
Hate that.
Don't even know you do it with the modern key, but the RAA guys were there in a jiffy. To make sure you don't get stuck on the road, check you have the right level of road service for your needs. Before you head out on your next road trip to do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff.
Search RAA Motor for more. RAA approved repairers are independent service providers, not agents of RAA. Terms and conditions apply. Available from RAA.
At Swan Security, we've been keeping Australian homes safe for over 30 years, and we're number one for do-it-yourself CCTV and video security. Swan has a complete lineup from wireless cameras and doorbells to complete multi-camera wide systems, all viewable and controllable from your mobile phone. And you can see the complete range of Swan's smart home security products now at Bunnings Warehouse. So turn your home sweet home into a home safe home with Swan Security from Bunnings Warehouse.
Don't just get any old mattress and cross your fingers. There's only one award-winning Sleeping Duck mattress that Australia loves, and comes with a system to get the comfort perfect for you in your very own home. Get it perfect at sleepingduck.com.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Race cars, family fun and fireworks. It's all happening at the Adelaide Rally East End finale, and it's all free. adelaiderally.com.au. See you there, Sunday, November 28.
The new Kia Niro hybrid SUV has landed. It combines a smooth and efficient blend of petrol and electric power without the need for external charging. It's a no-compromise SUV with outstanding fuel economy, low emissions, tons of comfort, and impressive versatility. The new Kia Niro hybrid SUV, available for immediate delivery. Check with your local Kia dealer for details.
Kia, movement that inspires.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
27 minutes after 6. He's the man around which a cult has formed. It started at the Port Pirie MFS. It's now spread to here at his home at 5AA, where we're all wearing the Tom Rehn Fan Club T-shirts, kindly provided by our good friends over there in Port Pirie. Tom Rehn in the 5AA Breakfast Studio. This November, grab the purple label 2-litre farm fresh fluoro milk to support breakthrough mental health research. Our dear leader, regale us with a kernel of wisdom.
Rehn-mania. That's the term we've coined for it, Tom.
I like it.
Rehn-mania.
I tell you what, this could be more destructive than the pandemic, the global pandemic itself. This is like a disease.
The Rehn virus.
The Rehn virus. You do not want to catch it.
You just what happens to you? You just get really happy and
and really small and really annoying. Really annoying.
And really
quite
tired.
tactile and
really tired because you've got to start to watch Scotland play Afghanistan in the T20.
You don't require sleep any longer.
Yeah,
I'll tell you what.
Well, you got to stay up all night watching, I don't know, Sevi Ballesteros at the US Open.
He was.
Is he still playing?
No, unfortunately he's no longer with us. But
Oh,
he was
damn.
one of the best short
Apologies
game players.
to the Ballesteros family.
I tell you what, I just heard your live read, boys. He was a beautiful Spanish player and a beautiful man.
Very funny guy.
Very funny guy. I just heard your read. I want to go on one of these road trips. And I've got a confession to make, Pembo, the RAA road trip. I have never been to Kangaroo Island. Can you believe that?
Well, mate, that actually puts you, I think, still in the majority of South Australians.
It's a shocking
It's amazing
confession.
how many people haven't been. And
My
they
parents-
people think it's hard.
Yeah.
It's the easiest thing in the world.
This is the thing. My parents had never been until last week, and they loved it. So I'm going to win this competition and go with you, Pembo. Boys, just quickly, A-League season starts tomorrow. I want to give you a bit of a preview. It's going to be tough. There's 12 teams in this competition now. Will, I know you watch it very closely, and David, I know you even watch a few games of the A-League. You quite enjoy it. I think the Reds will be doing very well to make the finals. I hope I'm wrong. I've tipped them from that sort of 5th to 8th category out of the 12. You need to make the top 6. Best player, I think, this season will be Craig Goodwin. That's probably not that controversial. I think the big one, though, who's going to improve and will get a few heads turning with the way he plays, and he's been in the headlines a lot, is Josh Cavallo. I think he's going to get a fair run this season.
Yep.
And given everything that he's gone through personally, I think that'll be a weight off his shoulders.
I think he's going to be quite exciting to watch this season. If you're looking for a title winner, you want a little flutter, I think Melbourne Victory, new manager, Tony Popovich will tighten them right up. And Alexander Prijovic to win the Golden Boot from Western Sydney. No one else is going to get their goal, so I think Alexander Prijovic, Serbian, will be the Golden Boot winner.
Really looking forward to it.
When's the first game?
This weekend?
This weekend.
Yeah, right.
It kicks off tonight, Adelaide United against Perth Glory, Daniel Sturridge, former Liverpool man, tomorrow night.
Is that here?
No, it's over there.
Damn. So next week there's a Reds game here.
Next week a Reds game, but tomorrow night about 9:30, late tomorrow night on Paramount Plus. Now remember, it's gone to a new server.
Yep.
And it's Channel 10.
I haven't even heard of Paramount Plus.
Yeah, you basically got to subscribe. It's like the affiliate for Channel 10.
How many bloody things do we have to subscribe to now?
Hundreds, literally hundreds. 10 are taking some games free to air as well.
Spot on. Yeah. But this one is Paramount Plus, so it's going to be difficult to watch unless you've got the extra service.
Can you pretend you like Paramount Plus and do a free trial?
I'm sure you could get a free trial.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Or you can make friends with someone who's got it.
Yeah, isn't that theft?
I think it is, Will. You wouldn't steal a car.
Yeah, exactly. You wouldn't like if someone came around for dinner and said, "Geez, they're nice bread rolls. Where'd you get them?" It was like, I just kicked a hole in the window at Baker's Delight.
Yeah.
Why are we open about stealing stuff online?
But if you had a mate who said, "Do you like my car? What about if I could give you an exact replica of it?" Ready? Thank you.
Thanks, boy. And thanks for wearing the shirts.
No,
mate, I'm
our
wearing
pleasure.
it all day. I don't care if people think I've got a screw loose. I'm going to walk down the wall, walk down the mall going, yay, Tom.
Hating kids when you get
home.
home.
Wind up in Glenside. Yeah, it's fantastic.
Exactly right.
5AA News, Tom. Let you get to the booth. Good on you, Rennie.
Thanks, boys.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A late shower or two, 22 today with the 6:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
Attorney General Vicky Chapman's political future hangs by a thread. She's still part of the Marshall Ministry, despite being the subject of an historic vote of no confidence in Parliament yesterday in the wake of the KI inquiry. Shadow Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says with the Premier standing by his deputy, the Governor will now become involved.
Unfortunately, because Vicky Chapman has refused to resign, because Stephen Marshall refuses to sack Vicky Chapman as a minister, it's now being left up to the Governor to consider what action should be taken. We should never be in this position. Vicky Chapman should have done the right thing and resigned, and if she didn't, the Premier should have shown some spine and some leadership and sacked her.
Speaker Dan Cregan will take the issue to Governor Francis Adamson today. There's been another death on our roads, this time in the state's southeast. A car ploughed into a Stobie pole at Millicent yesterday. The driver and sole occupant died at the scene. The 70-year-old woman was from Hawthorne Dean. New South Wales police aren't giving up hope of making a breakthrough in their investigation into the disappearance of William Tyrrell. Nine's Clinton Maynard is in Kendall.
Detectives have vowed to leave no stone unturned, and that's exactly what they're doing here in Kendall. It's a painstaking process, but they're spending days sifting through soil in freshly cleared bushland. So far, it's only uncovered a small strand of fabric that's now being tested. The AFP's use of sophisticated radar in the garage of the home where William vanished 7 years ago has failed to find anything. This morning, the search will focus on scrub less than a kilometre from the house.
Victorians are waking up to their first day of almost total freedom in 20 months. As the state moves toward 90% double dosed, almost all COVID restrictions were lifted at 1 minute to midnight. Caps on home visits and density limits for retail, concerts and events have been dropped. Australia Post claims to have overcome the COVID-19 backlog in time for Christmas. The Christmas cut-off for parcels is December 13, while Express Post deliveries will only arrive in time if they're sent before December 20. The US will support a global treaty to tackle plastic pollution in the world's oceans. Negotiations for the agreement will be launched at the UN Environment Assembly in February. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made the announcement while on a visit to Kenya.
By launching these negotiations at the UN Environmental Assembly in February 2022, our goal is to create a tool that we can use to protect our oceans and all the life that they sustain from growing global harms of plastic pollution.
Prince Charles and Camilla have touched down in Cairo, the Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall then taking part in a photo op in front of the pyramids of Giza. Egypt is the second spot on their overseas tour. They spent the first 2 days in Jordan. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
This November, grab the Purple Label 2-litre Farm Fresh Fluorio milk to support breakthrough mental health research.
And it's over to Tom Rehn with Everything Football.
Thank you, Mel. Yeah, we're going to start there because Adelaide forward Taylor Walker will return to training more than a month ahead of schedule. The Younger Crows are due back next Wednesday for pre-season, with Walker insisting he'll start early too. Let's go to cricket now. It's expected to be a full house at the MCG for the Boxing Day Ashes Test. COVID restrictions, which changed at midnight, mean there are no longer venue caps, providing everyone is fully vaccinated. MCC boss Stuart Fox says he's anticipating a bumper crowd.
I think it's going to be buzzing, and I just think it's going to be even better, given we haven't actually had a full capacity or operated at full capacity, for 20 months now.
The A-League season gets underway tonight with the Brisbane Roar away to Melbourne City. Adelaide United takes on the Perth Glory tomorrow night. Let's go to golf. A strong start from Aussie Cameron Smith at the RSM Classic in Georgia. He fired an opening round of 6 under, but is still 4 shots behind leader Sebastian Munoz. Meantime, at the season-ending tournament in Europe, Rory McIlroy holds a 2-shot lead after the opening round in Dubai. Jason Scrivener is the best of the Aussies, 6 shots back. And in the NBA, Aussie Josh Giddey continues to impress. He had 14 points and 11 rebounds as the Oklahoma City Thunder took care of the Houston Rockets 101-89. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
A late shower or two, 22 for your Friday. The weekend, a shower or two tomorrow, 18. Sunday, partly cloudy and 21. Right now, it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Because I can't stop myself. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 7. This morning, we're dressed by the Port Pirie branch of the MFS, who've kindly supplied us with their uniform, which is to say the Tom Rehn Fan Club T-shirt. We're asking you, inspired by our good friends there, thanks to St. Meat, award-winning quality butcher who have all your barbecue needs this summer covered. They've got friendly staff at North Haven. They've got a great spot at Semaphore as well.
Really good butcher shop.
We're asking you to start your own fan club. They started theirs. They've backed it in. We're wearing the T-shirts. Start your own fan club. Dave in South Brighton, start a fan club.
Mate, I started this one 40 years ago, and I'm still a paid-up full member. It's the Friday night knock-off beers.
Oh, yes.
Oh, I think that's a popular club.
Yeah, and I tell you what, even if I'm not working or if I'm on holiday in another time zone, my body clock adjusts instantly.
Really?
And oh, yeah.
So you
yeah,
wake up at like 4 o'clock in the morning in LA going, I need a beer.
Probably, yeah, mate, it's Friday afternoon. I'm not working, doesn't matter. It's still Friday afternoon.
Time to knock off.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah,
Thank you, Dave.
That's excellent.
Let's go to Woodville. Brenton, start a fan club.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David. And welcome back. And welcome back, David Penberthy. G'day, Will. How you going? I reckon we should start a John Blake one. Just love his range totally.
Oh, he's a funny guy.
Michael!
Bit of Angie McBride in there.
I listened to him too much, I think.
No, Brenton, that was excellent.
You and plenty of other people, Brenton.
Yeah, exactly right. That was good. Let's go to Elizabeth Vale. Terry, good morning.
Yeah, good morning, guys. Now, you did say to think outside the square.
Yeah.
So
Oh, yeah.
Here it goes, right? Every morning when I wake up, it's the first thing I see, and that's the ceiling. So I would like to start a ceiling fan club.
Well, you know you're alive when you see the ceiling
Exactly
as well,
right.
don't you, Terry?
Yeah.
The
So my
ceiling
second
fan
one-
club. That's terrific.
Fan club, yeah.
Terry,
That's a great pun. I love a good pun.
Yeah, it's a gret pun.
It's like there was a joke I heard some time ago about someone who made all their money selling fridges and became known as a fridge magnate. It's in a similar vein to Terry's.
It is.
Ceiling fan
I
club.
like when our listeners really key in on the key bits of their task as well. Think outside the box. Terry's done that. 8223 There's some great texts, I think, and I don't think they'll be stealing anyone's thunder. So let's read out a few of those on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line.
Con wants to start the Graham Goodings Soccer Fan Club. Is that a bit of a backhanded jibe about your old man?
I think
Will?
it's a front-handed jibe at the old man.
Doesn't he like soccer?
So here's the thing about my father. He loves every sport. He'll watch absolutely anything. But then what he says he does sometimes is different to what he actually does. But he doesn't. He's not a huge soccer fan. But if it's the World Cup, he'll watch it. Is what
You
I'm
can't
trying
be
to
into
say.
everything.
Yeah, he tries.
Yeah, exactly. Rob on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line says he wants to form the Stephen Rowe fan club with the motto, "Can you feel it?" I really never want to hear that song again. Every time we play it...
It's voice activated. You said it. I didn't click it.
Is it like Siri?
It is.
If ever I work out how to push all those knobs over there, I'm going to get rid of that song. It's going to be the first thing I do. What about this one? We've had owls nesting in our garden 4 years in a row now. The neighbours check on them too, so we've had T-shirts made up.
The Owl?
The Owl Club.
The Owl Club.
Wonder what sort of owls they are. Probably barn owls. You know there's barn owls everywhere in Australia?
Really?
Everywhere. And you never see them. Well, I suppose these people have. Simon wants to start the Dave Penberthy impromptu cooking class fan club for random food-related segues. We're getting a lot of texts questioning our health Supremo's decision about the crowd numbers for the test as well.
Good news for everyone who would like to ask a question of SA Health. The Chief Medical Officer, Nicholas Spurrier, will be on after 7:30 this morning, and we're inviting you this morning to ask those questions yourself. 8223 is the number. You can call in now. We can call you back then.
There's one I want to read out. I reckon a lot of footy fans would agree with this, regardless of their allegiance to the Crows or the Power. From Rob, guys, I'm a fully vaxxed Crows member. Year 1, we're all in this together. I happily let the club have my membership money. Year 2, I paid up again, got to see a few games. I'm telling you now, if I can't go to all the games next year maskless and just be able to walk in, sit down and enjoy the game, then I'm done. They can have my seat back and I'll spend my hard-earned cash somewhere else. I and many around me are heartily tired of doing the right thing, time and time again, only to have the goalpost constantly changing. The science is a convenient crutch to beat us into submission or be ignored, a la the WA Ashes test, at the whim of the authorities, and I'm over it.
Surely we're not wearing masks at the footy after March next year.
I don't know. You can't be too careful. Well, maybe you can be.
Don't even give them the idea, David.
Oh, maybe they've already got the idea.
Yeah, no, you're right. You're right. Can't be too careful, eh?
No.
Maybe that could replace the festival state on the licence.
Or maybe it could be a club.
Could be a club.
The You Can't Be Too Careful club.
Yeah, we know a couple of the members are.
Yeah, totally.
They could win the meat tray thanks to St. Meat. All right, let's check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? We can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
Thanks, Will. At Henley Beach, urgent sewer works continue Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Myrtle Bank, look out for continuing asphalt works on Cross Road. That's between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road this morning. Look out for detours in place. And still got those speed restrictions around Crayford, Stirling and the tunnels on the freeway. That's affecting both directions for works. Couple of cameras too. McGill Road, McGill, and One Tree Hill Road, Gould Creek, and Rundle Street at Kent Town. Things are heating up as the Weber WBBL Festival returns. Catch your Adelaide Strikers at Adelaide Oval this weekend as they fight for a spot in the finals. Search WBBL, Adelaide's most accurate traffic, on 5AA.
Nothing beats that new car experience, and you'll still be feeling it long after you drive away in a new Corolla Hybrid from Jarvis Toyota. It's the iconic hatch, redefined with a 1.8-litre 90-kilowatt hybrid engine. It's already netted a bunch of awards with its game-changing sporty styling. The Corolla Hybrid is definitely made for fun. Rediscover the road in the all-new Toyota Corolla Hybrid at Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park. Proudly celebrating 20 years of great deals.
Optus Business Plus month-to-month plans are kind of like a tailored suit. You can adjust, taper, loosen or tidy up your fit. Stitch on some more data and mobiles as you grow. And because things change, it's easy to take off a few SIMs and your broadband offering if you need to cut back. With Optus's best ever network, it's yours to shape how you like. You do business differently, so we do too. Optus. Great business starts with yes. T's and C's apply.
It's a read.
Race cars family fun and fireworks. It's all happening at the Adelaide Rally East End finale on Sunday, November 28. And David, how about this? It's all free.
That's right, Will. The huge field of rally cars come to the city after 4 days of racing, and then the party begins in Rundle Street and Rymel Park. As the party kicks off, catch the traditional champagne spray on the podium and get among the excitement of the rally.
See 500 cars on display, including the rally field, exotic supercars, cool customs, and with displays from leading car brands as well.
Plus, there's wild drone racing and fireworks to finish. It's going to be one heck of a spectacle. Kids can try driving simulators, slot cars, remote control car racing and more, and it's all free for the whole family from 4 p.m. until 8:30. All the info is at adelaiderally.com.au. Get down to the East End.
It's value the Australian way at Coles, with delicious Aussie fruit and veg for Christmas, like sweet, juicy yellow and white nectarines, 100% Aussie and just $4.50 a kilo. This week at Coles. Offer ends Thursday.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
15 minutes to 7. After 7 o'clock this morning, Professor Nicola Spurrier will join us. We'll also chat with Andrew Daniels from the Stadium Management Authority and Elaine Benstead from Adelaide Zoos, who have both imposed yesterday a vaccine mandate on anyone wanting to attend events from now on. Let's check in with SAPOL first. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan on the line. Jen, we woke up this morning and had it in our news headlines, this awful story about a fatal crash at Millicent yesterday.
Yeah, unfortunately, another one, and that was about 3:50 yesterday. Police and emergency services were called to the Princess Highway at Millicent after a Ford sedan had collided with a Stobie pole. So sadly, the driver, who was the sole occupant, a 70-year-old woman from Hawthorne Dean, has died at the scene. So the Princess Highway was closed and reopened about 11:30 last night. Major crash officers attended the scene and they're investigating the cause of that crash. So the woman's death is the 88th life lost on South Australian roads compared to 77 this time last year.
Very sad. Jen, also, there's been a drug arrest at Shido Park.
Yeah, there has, and that's been some good work by patrols overnight, and that was just before 4 a.m. Patrol spotted a BMW parked on Spinnaker Court at Shido Park, and police spoke with the occupants and conducted a search of the car, during which they found an amount of methamphetamine and an amount of cash inside the car. So the driver, a 28-year-old man from Christie's Beach, and his passenger, a 48-year-old man from Seaford Meadows, have both been arrested. They've been charged with trafficking, a controlled drug and money laundering. So they've been refused bail and they'll go to the Christie's Magistrates Court this morning.
Good stuff, Jen. Thanks for that.
Thanks, boys.
Senior Constable Jen Cullinan from SAPOL.
That reminds me, last night, RBT, South Australia, was the star of the show. You didn't happen to catch it, did you?
No.
I'll tell you what.
Where were they?
All over town. But back me up, folks. If anybody saw it, I would love to meet these people. The guy would be an amazing interview. There were these 3 blokes driving a yellow moke. They weren't under the influence of anything, but the bloke who was driving the car, he was, let's say, very much on the chubby side, totally shirtless.
Right.
And he had this really elaborate facial hair, and he was wearing gold sort of gangster rapper chains.
Wow. Do you reckon he's a listener?
I don't know. I don't think so. If anyone knows that guy, it was the most spectacular get-up in the most absurd vehicle. Him and his 2 young mates driving around in a moke, and this whopping bloke with the gold bling. It's just extraordinary. And I was watching it thinking, how good's Adelaide?
We're very inclusive community.
We are.
You ever driven a car without a top on? Your top, not the car's top.
Totally.
But totally
the van,
shirtless?
Yeah, all the time.
But that's at the beach.
Oh, no, I've driven my car without a shirt.
Really?
Yeah, totally.
I can't imagine that.
If I'm gardening, I just put my boots and my shorts on.
What, you go down to Foodland?
I wouldn't go into Foodland. I'd go to a Hungry Jack's drive-thru or something like that, though.
Shirtless?
Yeah, why not? In summer. We run a pretty nude house, Will.
It sounds like it.
Yeah.
We're learning things.
Yeah.
Okay. Senior forecaster Vince Rowlands from the Weather Bureau.
Sorry about you having to endure that, Vince. We got sidetracked.
I've got these visions in front of me at the moment.
Yeah.
None of them good.
What's your clothing policy there at the Bureau, Vince? Anyone shirtless?
Pretty formal.
Yeah, okay. I imagine so. Hey,
pretty formal.
What's happening weather-wise over the weekend, Vince?
Yeah, look, it looks like we're downgraded that rainfall a little bit for tomorrow. Well, quite a bit actually. So, yeah, a bit of shower activity expected to move through later today. Not expecting much in a couple of millimetres, and we're going to see a top of 22 degrees before that activity arrives. So, fair bit going on over the west of the state. We've already seen 19 millimetres over the far west. So, yeah, certainly expecting quite a bit of rainfall across the state during today and tomorrow. But looks like at this stage now it's just going to push a little bit further north of Adelaide. So we've had the rainfall downgraded to between 2 and 8 millimetres for tomorrow. But still a reasonably cool day, and still expecting some shower activity around. But, yeah, just certainly not as wet as what we were initially expecting. But as we head into the latter part of the weekend and early next week, things finding up and slightly warming. So we've got 21 degrees for Sunday. Pretty nice day on Monday, 24 degrees. But then we've got another couple of weak little systems moving across the state on Tuesday and Thursday. So we'll see a redevelopment of shower activity on Tuesday, a top of 22, just a shower or two around. And then a possible shower on Wednesday, 21, and then some more shower activity on Thursday. So, yeah, not as wet on Saturday, and then, not a bad finish to the weekend, and then a pretty nice day on Monday.
Beautiful.
Good on you,
stuff,
Vince. Good
Thanks,
stuff.
mate.
Thank you for that. Vince Rowlands very much with a shirt on this morning at the Weather Bureau. It's 10 to 7. We're going to get to some more of your excellent Meat Tray Friday entries in just a moment. The category, in case you're wondering and you want to get that fantastic meat tray from St. Meat, is start a fan club. We've got the Tom Rehn Fan Club T-shirts on right now. You start a fan club, you're in the running to win the meat tray.
Across SA, there's bound to be an independent RAA-approved repairer close by. There's over 450. They're ready to assist with servicing, mechanical problems, crash repairs and specialty jobs. They're audited to RAA's high standards, giving you peace of mind that your car's in good hands. So, before you head out on your next road trip to do the fun stuff, let RAA take care of the car stuff. Search RAA Motor for more. Keep on moving on. RAA-approved repairers are independent service providers, not agents of RAA. Terms and conditions apply. Available from RAA.
We're investing $7.4 billion into health in SA, recruiting up to 1,920 health staff, so you spend less time waiting for care and more time where you want to be. Visit moreforhealth.sa.gov.au to know more. A message from the Government of South Australia.
Now, you know, David and I, we are massive fans of the Adelaide Central Market because there's simply nothing else like it in Adelaide. In fact, you know this better than I. You're a market peruser and expert.
5-year employee, McMahon's Fruit and Veg as well.
There's nothing really like it in Australia, is there?
No, there isn't. The closest would be the Pran Market in Melbourne, but the scale is not even close. The Sydney fish markets are unreal, absolutely unreal. And the Cairns markets are great, but to get absolutely everything you need, seafood, cheeses, great bread, good meat, and to have all those restaurants tacked on, you're right. I reckon the only place where there's something similar to the Adelaide Central Market is France.
Is that right?
Yeah, I went to a market there in Nîmes, and I was walking around, and I said to Kate, this actually feels like our market, which is the hugest compliment you could pay. Anyway, back to the ad. It's about the Central Market, and in a nutshell, we love it. Our market is a collective of over 70 traders, suppliers, growers and producers, all working together to bring you the best and freshest produce available.
From fruit and veg, seafood, meat, bread and milk to world-class cheese, continental goods, even take-home meals, it's all at your fingertips. All your Christmas favourites are starting to arrive too, like new season cherries, local stone fruit, puddings, fruit mince tarts and South Australian seafood.
They've redone their website. It's excellent. So if you can't get in, simply order online. For home delivery as well, every Tuesday, Thursday and Friday.
Shop local. Get to the Adelaide Central Market, open Tuesday to Saturday, and for more info visit adelaidecentralmarket.com.au.
Get more at Mawson Lakes Volkswagen with great deals on demos right across the range, all ready to drive away. And if you're impressed with our selection of cars, you'll love our service department with next day servicing, complimentary loan cars and breakfast or lunch on us. Why? Because when you're Adelaide's newest Volkswagen dealer, you want to give more. Visit mawsonlakesvw.com.au to see the range online. Mawson Lakes Volkswagen, just a short drive from the city.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 minutes to 7. Nicholas Spurrier coming up in the next hour of the program. There's a blood moon rising. There's trouble on the way, David. It's actually a blood moon eclipse, but I couldn't make it work with the song lyric. I don't know what a blood moon eclipse is. Thankfully, Dave Rehn does. He's the editor of Astrospace News and joins us now. Dave, good morning to you.
Good morning, Dave. Good morning, Will.
So, take us through. What are we going to see in our skies tonight?
You're going to see an event that hasn't happened since the 15th century. This one won't occur again until 2669. A little fair way between, a long way between drinks. It's the longest eclipse of the century. What we're going to see here, we're going to see a little bit of a change in the moon tonight, and it's going to be one of those things that it's not dangerous to look at. Lunar eclipses are quite okay. You can take a photograph if you want to as well. But the moon is that the moon's going to be immersed in the Earth's shadow only for a small amount of time. Not a total eclipse, but it's going to be enough to make it turn that nice little pinky colour. And as I say, it'll happen for you around about 8 o'clock. Adelaide or all of South Australia. Your maximum time, best time to look at it, would be around 8:15, maybe 8:30. It's all over by 10:30. It's going to be the longest total eclipse, or partial eclipse, in a very long time.
Will there be much to look at, Dave?
Yeah, I think it'll be nice if your weather's okay for you. Get onto a vantage point where it's dark, get away from the lights, and you'll see a gradual pinking of the moon itself. It'll change to a nice little pink colour. Best way to imagine this is a little mind experiment. If you've got a bit of paper in front of you there, guys, just draw 3 circles on a bit of paper. On the left-hand side, draw a big circle. In the middle, put a smaller one. And on the right of that, put a smaller one still. Now, you'll see by looking at that, even in your mind's eye, make that little diagram. Sun, Earth and Moon. You'll see the sun flows over the Earth. That's sunlight washing over the Earth. Now, as it does that, it goes through, it filters through the Earth's atmosphere. And then the moon on the right there in the Earth's shadow, all of that filtered light gets dumped on the moon. And because we've got a polluted atmosphere around the Earth because of our industrialisation, you're going to have a little bit of that pinky colour. It's really just the way that the light changes as it gets refracted through the Earth's atmosphere. If we were having bushfires, you had local bushfires that would turn a blood red. If we had a lot of pollution in the sky there, for instance, if there was a lot of industrial activity going on, you'd see the same sort of thing. But this should be nice to have a look at. It's free. It won't hurt your eyes. And as I say, for Adelaide or all of South Australia, starts around 8 o'clock. Your best time to go and look at it somewhere between maybe 8:15 and 8:30.
That's interesting what you say, Dave. A lot of people I know in Mexico say the only good thing about Mexico City is the sunsets. And it's because of the pollution. They are unbelievable. And you've seen those pictures from places like Mumbai as well, where the sun is hanging in the sky. And
it does look spectacular.
I mean, it's not the best way to create the effect.
No, it's probably not worth the trade-off.
Carcinogens and lead and noxious fumes into the air.
Well, as we've always said, toxic pollution, not all downside. Yeah, that's right. Dave Rehn, the editor of Astrospace News, really appreciate that. Was a terrific explanation of what you're going to see in your skies. So 8 o'clock tonight is the key bit of information. Joe's identified a key bit of information that she's heard on the program this morning. Joe on Twitter says to @5AA Breakfast, hearing, quote, "We run a pretty nude household," end quote, is not how I expected to start my Friday. No, hey, listen, neither, Joe.
I'm still, in terms of the weird revelation stakes, I'm still about 8 lengths behind Will for this week, I'd say.
I registered my protest against something, to be clear. Not a wholehearted embracement.
Okay. Hey, what about this? I like this idea. Someone has asked whether the Attorney-General, Vicky Chapman, could help us out to have our own Tom Wren fan club clubhouse. Maybe she's got a rental property somewhere that she may or may not disclose to us. What do you reckon?
Do you reckon it's booked up at the moment?
I don't know. Wouldn't it be great to do an OB from there? Next time we're on KI. Where is it? Stokes Bay? Not Stokes Bay. It's up the north side.
It's on the north side. But
near Emu Bay.
Do you reckon on the blurb on the website it says, gravel and truck noise free?
Yeah, that's right. Now with fewer truck movements.
Debbie in South Plimpton's called in for the meat tray thanks to St. Meat with a fan club she's going to start. Debbie, good morning.
Oh, good morning. Well, it was so nice to hear Dave Reneke in the light hours and not the dark hours.
He's terrific, isn't he?
That.
I love that guy.
Yeah, me too. I've missed him. Now, I reckon I've got a T-shirt lined up here for you, David, but if we can have a fan club for things that don't exist anymore, I'd like to start one for the Mir Space Station.
I love the Mir Space Station.
Yeah, size large for you, David. Yeah, that was the funniest flaky ever.
I actually found it a little bit awkward, Debbie. It made me feel a bit dumb.
I know. I said to Lucy, that was the dumbest I've ever heard you, and you're not dumb at all. And you
No,
couldn't
I'm pretty
even
dumb.
say anything after that, Blakey.
I can do dumb.
No.
Oh, my God. Well,
Dumb
please don't
comes
be dumb
naturally
and-
to me.
It takes
Please
a lot.
don't be dumb and nude.
He can't-
together.
Well, he can't. There's a part of that he can't
Hey,
promise.
I mean topless. I don't mean, full blown.
Debbie, excellent.
Good on you,
entry
Debbie.
For the meat tray this morning, thanks to St. Meat. Coming up to 5AA News Time, after 7 o'clock this morning, we will be speaking with the zoo. We'll be speaking with the Stadium Management Authority. We're going to be talking about vaccine mandates that exist in those venues. And then after 7:30, your chance to ask questions of the Chief Medical Officer, Professor Nicola Spurrier, on the plan announced for post-November 23 earlier this week.
Online, on DAB Digital Radio, and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A late shower or two, 22 today with the 7 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra Marion have a hydrotherapy pool now on site. Contact Physio Extra Marion or head to physioextra.com.
It's been an eventful 24 hours in State Parliament, but Vicky Chapman is still standing. Yesterday, an inquiry found the Attorney-General had a conflict of interest when she vetoed a major port project on KI. A vote of no confidence followed. But the Deputy Premier is not resigning and has the full support of Stephen Marshall. Speaker Dan Cregan will seek an audience with Governor Francis Adamson today. Shadow Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says the issue needs to be dealt with because there are plenty of other things that need attention.
The state needs to be focused on reopening after COVID, on transitioning to a new normal after suffering from COVID over the last 18 months. And instead we're distracted by an underperforming Deputy Premier who should clearly resign and a government which is running away from parliamentary scrutiny.
There's been a drug bust at Shido Park. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says just before 4 this morning, patrols spotted a BMW parked on Spinnaker Circuit with 2 people inside.
Police spoke with the occupants and conducted a search of the car, during which they found an amount of methamphetamine and an amount of cash inside the car. So the driver, a 28-year-old man from Christie's Beach, and his passenger, a 48-year-old man from Seaford Meadows, have both been arrested.
The 28 and 48-year-old have been charged with trafficking in a controlled drug and money laundering. They've been refused bail and will front court today. The state road toll has risen again, this time following a crash in the southeast. A car hit a Stobie pole on the Princess Highway at Millicent yesterday afternoon. The 70-year-old female driver from Hawthorne Dean died at the scene. There have been 88 deaths on SA roads this year, compared to 77 at this time last year. Most of Victoria's COVID restrictions were dumped overnight, with the state due to reach 90% fully vaccinated this weekend. Nine's Christy Sullivan is in Melbourne.
Under the new changes, caps on the number of vaccinated customers in venues are scrapped, while limits on private gatherings are also gone, and dance floors have reopened. Good news for major sporting events, with the Boxing Day Test and the Australian Open allowed to have full crowd capacity. Masks will still be required in retail and hospitality settings for another month and remain mandatory on public transport, in hospitals and aged care. But freedoms for the unvaccinated have been reduced further. They're now locked out of all non-essential shops. Meantime, major changes have been announced to the state's quarantine rules. Fully vaccinated Victorians who test positive only have to isolate for 10 days. Household contacts 7 days, and most other social contacts who are double jabbed only need a negative test.
COVID-19 cases are surging in parts of Europe. Slovakia has followed Austria in imposing a lockdown on the unvaccinated. The Netherlands has introduced a curfew and limits on social gatherings, with cases at record levels. Cases are also rising in Italy and France, but deaths and hospitalisations aren't rising as steeply because of their higher vaccination rates. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
This November, grab the Purple Label 2-litre Farm Fresh Fluorio milk to support breakthrough mental health research.
It's over to Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. It's been revealed Australian wicketkeeper Matthew Wade very nearly missed the T20 World Cup final against New Zealand. The wicketkeeper hurt himself during the final training session, casting doubt over his fitness for the decider. Man of the match, Mitch Marsh, says Wade was determined, though, to play.
Knowing Matthew Wade, one of the toughest characters you'll ever meet, and luckily he didn't have to do anything. It would have taken a lot for him to not play a World Cup final, that's for sure.
Let's go to golf. Cameron Smith is 4 shots off the lead during the opening round of the RSM Classic on the PGA Tour in Georgia. He fired an opening round of 6 under with a 64. Sebastian Munoz leads at 10 under. Meantime, in Europe, Rory McIlroy is the man to catch after the opening round of the season-ending tournament in Dubai. The former world number 1 is 2 shots clear at 7 under after a blistering round which included 6 birdies and an eagle.
Yeah, he's going a high route here. Oh, what a goal shot. What a goal shot that is.
Yeah, that audio there thanks to Fox. Jason Scrivener is the best of the Aussies, 6 shots back. Let's go to tennis. The WTA is threatening to pull all tournaments in China if missing player Peng Shuai isn't found. She's been missing since accusing a former Chinese government official of sexual assault. Meantime, Daniil Medvedev has just hit the court in his final group match at the ATP Finals in Italy. He's just taken up a double break in the opening set against Italy's Yannick Sinner. And one game in the NFL to kick off Week 11 later this morning with the New England Patriots up against the Atlanta Falcons. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
Henley Beach urgent sewer works continue Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Myrtle Bank got asphalt works there this morning. That's Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Look out for detours and restrictions. Crayford, speed restrictions still applying the freeway both directions for works. Does get busy around the tunnels in the morning. And we've got cameras today, Cross Road, Myrtle Bank and Gage Street at Firle. What's for lunch? How about a burrito or bowl from Guzmani Gomez for just $9.90? Pulled pork, grilled chicken, slow cooked beef and more, just $9.90 on the GYG app. Download the app and order today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
22 and a late shower or two today, a shower or two tomorrow 18, Sunday partly cloudy and 21. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Glider Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years.
Gliderol.com.au.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
6 after 7, we'll take you through some of the shenanigans in Parliament yesterday shortly as we wrap some of the big stories of the day. We'll also catch up with the Zoo and the Stadium Management Authority in just a moment to talk about some news that came out of them yesterday regarding double vaccinations and the fact you'll need to have one if you want to get to either of those venues from now on. But before we do that, David, we've got a special guest in the studio with us.
Do we ever? Now, I got to say, I love our listeners. And yesterday, Lucy, our producer, she sent me an email going, "Hey, Dave, one of our listeners, Di from Lockleys, who you know, we met up at Loberthal when we were doing the show there after the fires of getting them for 2 years ago." So Di emailed the program yesterday and said, "I've grown a jalapeno chili from seed for Dave, because she knows I'm a mad gardener and also I love my Mexican food, so ticks both boxes there." And she said, "Can I bring it into the studio?" Well, she has, and we thought, Di, we'd get you into the studio to say g'day and to give you a big hug on air for doing this. It's an extremely kind thing you've done.
You're very, very welcome, and it's so exciting to be here.
Oh, it's not that exciting. We're here all the time. But it's a cracker of a plant. So you grew that from seed, and we're just coming out of winter. That's like getting on for 60 centimetres tall.
It is, and we have a little greenhouse, so and these seeds are from last year's crop, actually.
Yeah, right.
And so that, you know, they're classed as, I think they're classed as heirloom. I hope nobody diggers is listening. But
oh, that's the environmentally friendly way to do it. And you made me a little pot of potted meat, French rillettes as well. Rillettes.
Fantastic with champagne.
Well, beautiful.
So I hope you and...
bit early, but, you know,
you got
5 o'clock somewhere.
You got David's shirtless Friday night sorted out then, I think.
Yeah, probably not going to take my shirt off. Not even to go through the drive-through.
I'm really regretting saying that now. But Di, seriously, lovely to meet you again. Thank you for the plant.
You're welcome, and I hope you get a wonderful crop.
Yeah, well, what I'll do, I'll pickle some jalapenos for you, and they'll be coming your way.
Fantastic.
So we'll stay in touch.
I'll hold you to that.
All right, you're on.
Thanks
for coming in, Di. Lovely to meet you.
Thank you.
Good on
Thank
you.
you very much.
Cheers, Di.
All right, at 9 after 7, let's get to some of the stories of the morning and start with one that really transpired quite dramatically yesterday. If you want an explainer for all that's been going on in South Australian Parliament with Vicky Chapman and the no confidence vote that took place yesterday, I encourage you to go back and listen to the 5AA Breakfast podcast from our program yesterday. Matt Abraham just took you through all the various scenarios that could well play out. They all started with a no confidence vote in Parliament yesterday, and here's how it ended up.
Order. The results of the division. On the question as to whether the motion as amended be agreed to, there being 23 ayes and 22 noes, the motion is carried in the House.
So the no confidence motion was carried, and the Speaker, Dan Cregan, will take that to the Governor today. Stephen Marshall says he'll be standing by Vicky Chapman, and ultimately his interpretation of the Constitution is that it is at the whim of executive government who forms these roles as minister, and he won't be sacking her. Or at least he was steadfast before the vote.
She has my 100% support. I do not believe for 1 second that there has been any breach of the Ministerial Code of Conduct.
So the only way this could change, I think, because the Premier has repeatedly said, I will not sack her, and he said on our show that he would have done exactly the same thing she did, which I struggle with, but anyway, that's what he said. But if they get the sense that this is doing them continuing damage, and Labor's not going to let go at all on it, and clearly there's some former Libs, Sam DeLuc, Troy Bell, who both voted for it. I reckon there'd be other people in the Liberal Party who are taking some sort of, macabre delight.
Oh, without a doubt.
At watching her squirm. The only possible fix, I reckon, is a quiet word, which is, hey, Vic, look, this is
doing us damage.
This is dragging on a bit. So it needs to be, if anything is going to change, it will be led by her, and it will be the 5 p.m. press conference after consultation with my closest friends and confidants. I have decided that for the good of the party, blah, blah, blah. Having said that, I reckon that they'll drag her out with a Manolo Blahniks on. I don't think Vicky Chapman's going to give any bastard the satisfaction of... I don't know if she wears Manolo Blahniks, but, she's always immaculately turned out. I do not think the Attorney General / Deputy Premier would want to give her detractors the satisfaction of quitting, so I reckon we are at a impasse.
Yeah, I think that's a reasonable summation. Over in Victoria, things have changed rather dramatically today.
In just the next few days, Victoria, that is people 12 and over, will pass through the 90% double dose gateway. There are no more caps. There are no more quotients. There are no more rules in terms of how many people can be in different spaces. So visitors to your home, back to normal. The number of people in a pub or a cafe or a restaurant, back to normal. It won't be COVID rules that determine how many people are at the pub. It'll be the liquor licence, back to normal. You can stand up to have a drink. Dance floors are open again. All of these things which we've missed and which are absolutely about getting to as normal a situation as possible, that normality that we've all craved, we're able to deliver that.
Isn't it nice to hear normal without any caveat, any asterisk, any qualification? Normal, but, we'll have to get used to this. Normal, but these things are going to be here for a while. It's just normal in Victoria now for a whole heap of places where they've been the furthest from normal, to be fair about it. But now they have greater freedoms than we do.
Yeah. Well, these are all these questions and more for Professor Spurrier after 7:30.
Yep, absolutely. Now, Adele in fact, not yet, but will be releasing her new album 30 tonight. And here is a cut of her new record, Easy on Me. After 7, the Meat Tray today, thanks to Saint Meat, where we're asking you to form a fan club. What about this one, David? I'm now in the Davo Does HJ fan club.
Turn it up.
I can now see the new ad for Hungry Jack's. David driving through the drive-thru, biting into a burger, and the hot pickles fall onto his gut. Your guts gets bigger at Hungry Jack's. Now,
does this guy work in advertising?
That was really good. And now,
is that from Simon Reynolds?
Of course, they're on board the
With
Crows,
2 eyes?
so we're all big Hungry Jack's fans.
Oh yeah, we love Hungry Jack's.
All right, 14:07. Let's check traffic. Thanks to Glenelg BMW. They're now open on Brighton Road, and you can book a test drive today.
Thanks, Will. Got those asphalt works continuing at Myrtle Bank this morning. That's on Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Keep your eyes out for detours there. Henley Beach, urgent sewer works continue. Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. And around Crafers and Stirling, still got those speed restrictions on the freeway, both directions for works. Does get pretty sluggish around the tunnels on the drive-in. Got cameras today, Bridge Road, Salisbury East and Lefevre Terrace in North Adelaide. Get summer ready with early Black Friday deals now on at Barbecues Galore with up to 30% off in-store and online. Barbecues Galore. Now you're cooking. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The Nissan Juke comes with Apple CarPlay and a 5-year warranty as standard. Plus, low weekly repayments when you finance with Nissan Future Value. Contact your Nissan dealer today.
Approved private and ABN applicants only. T's and C's apply.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Careers. Don't send it, ace it.
Get your Woolies worth and get ready for Christmas with prices dropped on 200 more products. Like Woolworths Pavlova bases, serves 12, dropped to just $6 each. It's just another way to get your Woolies worth. Products may not be available in all stores while stocks last.
Hey, it's Callum for Edwardstown Mazda. Buying a demo is always a great way to get behind the wheel of an almost new Mazda. And believe me, there's plenty of demos to choose from at Edwardstown Mazda, including Mazda 3, CX-5 and BT50. And they're all ready to take home right now. Let Edwardstown Mazda help you personalise your Mazda. You'll love the team. Just call into A62 South Road. Or visit edwardstownmazda.com.au. LMBD 207 428.
There's no blueprints to your new custom-built Beechwood home. Well, not yet anyway. But together with Beechwood, it won't take long to turn your ideas into sketches, then drawings, and finally a home you can live a beautiful life in. That's the really exciting thing about building with Beechwood Homes. They'll build the home you want. So collect your thoughts, your ideas, your Pinterest boards, whatever, and let's talk. Because life's good. It's even better in a Beechwood home.
Home isn't a place, it's a feeling. And the team at Lawn and Landscape Co., they know this feeling well. They love to help create the home of your dreams with a range of trusted products and sound advice from DIY to complete projects. Lawn and Landscape Co., they love to stock Australian products. Then there are lots of products made right here in South Australia too. From lawn to paving, irrigation, Jaffa limestone and straight curve garden edging and more. Whatever your project is, Lawn and Landscape Co. can't wait to help. Turn your place from dirt to dreams with Lawn and Landscape Co. 6 Wilton Avenue, Summerton Park. Call 8296 4356 or check them out online at lawnlandscapeco.com.au. That's lawnlandscapeco.com.au.
I was quite sporty as a kid, but always had trouble with my crunchy knees. And then one day the right knee completely locked. My GP advised me to see a surgeon, so I went on the internet and thankfully found the Joint Replacement Clinic, who explained I needed total knee replacement. That was the bad news. But because of my medical insurance, there was no gap, not a single expense. And with the new knee, I'm swinging the old clubs again.
Ask your GP or visit thejointreplacementclinic.com.au. Renewing mobility, restoring life.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
18 after 7. The list grew significantly yesterday of events and venues at which you'll need to be double jabbed in future to be allowed entry. So it started with WWII, but from there we've now got the Entertainment Centre, Hindmarsh Stadium, we've got the Adelaide Convention Centre, and of course the Adelaide Oval and Adelaide Zoo. We're going to speak with Elaine Bedstead from the Zoo in just a moment. But first, the Adelaide Oval CEO is Andrew Daniels and joins us on 5AA Breakfast. Andrew, good morning.
Good morning, Will. Good morning, David.
So, Andrew, just for the benefit of all our listeners who attend football games and maybe go to Sheffield Shield or might be going to a friend's wedding or a work function, because I know you have a lot of functions there in the McGarry room and the McLaughlin room, is this for everyone who enters the Adelaide Oval for any reason?
Yes, it is, David. We've made it just one rule for everybody. It will commence on the 23rd, which is the day that the borders open. So everybody coming into the Adelaide Oval for any reason, could be a roof climb tour, could be a dinner, could be the Big Bash, the Test match, any reason at all, will need to show proof of double vaccination.
And that presumably applies to staff and all the blue coats, people like Judy who work there on the lifts during footy matches?
Certainly does. All staff, we've gone out to all of our staff. We've asked them to be double jabbed by the 9th of December, which is when we need the full complement working for the Big Bash game. That's our next really big event. So there is still time, but people need to get their roller skates on if they haven't started the process.
So what's the process by which you can prove your vaccination? Are there multiple? I know there's the MyGov version, but are there other things you can do?
Yeah, so there's the MyGov version. Hopefully also soon there'll be something linked to the when you QR code. In addition, people can bring in a hard copy if they wish. And, of course, if they have a medical exemption, then they can bring in a valid medical exemption along with a PCR test not more than 72 hours old. So we are making it very strict that is the only exception, unless you're under 12, of course. So other than that, everybody has to present their evidence, and if they don't or won't, then we won't be letting them into the Oval.
You're a little bit disappointed that we're going to be the only ground in Australia for the Ashes that won't have full capacity?
Look, I really, really hope that as this vaccination rate gets up, I think we're up about, 75, 76% now. Clearly the government want to get to 80 and then 90. I read with perhaps a little bit of envy, I've got to say, the news out of Victoria yesterday. They're over 90% and they will have a full crowd for the Boxing Day test. So bring on 90% is what I say. Please, everyone get done as soon as possible.
Yeah, absolutely. We agree with that. Thank you. Andrew Daniels, the CEO of the Adelaide Oval. Elaine Bedstead, CEO at Zoos SA. You've got a couple of properties across which this is going to apply. Elaine, I imagine it will work very similarly to what we just heard about the Adelaide Oval.
Yeah, there'll be a lot of similarities, but also a couple of differences. Ours will be for 16 years and over, and will take effect from the 1st of December. And at this stage, we've said it's in place until the 31st of January. We pride ourselves on being a really inclusive organisation, and I must say it's disappointing to see the division that's happening in the community, and you can certainly see that on Facebook comments. We don't want to put this in place if perhaps it's not needed. Encourage what Andrew said. If we can get higher levels of population vaccination, then maybe we can revisit the policy. So at this stage, we've got it in place for December and January for all those 16 years and over for both Adelaide Zoo and Monarto Safari Park.
Have you had any joy in terms of getting some of the still onerous restrictions affecting the zoo reviewed, Elaine?
I think last time we talked, I was in conversations with SA Health, and yes, last Friday we managed to get formal approval that we could move to 75% capacity, and also that masks were only to be mandatory indoors, not outdoors. Good. So we did celebrate that Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and then these new rules came out Monday, and then we've sort of been back into how do we manage to operate. And I think if anybody looks at, I know there's a lot of people questioning why a number of organisations, quite different, but the one thing we all share in common is we host fairly large groups of people. And if you look at that risk assessment matrix, our aim is really we've got to keep as many people in the green box or potentially the yellow box, and none of those are if people are unvaccinated. So it just really wasn't viable to make any other decision for us.
Yeah. Given the zoo is such a venue for school visits and things like that involving younger people, can you envisage a revision of the rules you're putting in place here once people under the age of 12 become eligible for the vaccination?
Absolutely, and it's a couple of reasons why we went 16 and over. One is that's the current target for the state government is to get to 80 to 90% of the 16 and overs. We do know that longer term that target moves to 12 plus. And when there is a vaccine that's available for younger children, then we'll continue to look at that. We also had to consider we have what's called reciprocal membership arrangements. So if someone has a Zoos SA membership, they can visit Taronga Zoo or Melbourne or Perth Zoo, and vice versa. And when we looked at the restrictions in place in New South Wales and Victoria in our major zoo partners, their rulings are currently 16 and over. So for those reasons, it made it much simpler for us to go, at this stage, 16 and over.
Good stuff. Thank you very much, Elaine, and also to Andrew Daniels, the Adelaide Oval CEO, and Elaine Benstead, the CEO of the excellent Adelaide Zoo and Monado Zoo.
24 after 7. Stephen Rowe had some thoughts on precisely this issue last night on his program. So secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota.
No, okay, they're 90% vaxxed tomorrow. It's back to normal for Victorians. It is. Play on. Okay, that's. Let's just park that one.
Sure, that.
Today in SA, to date, we've had 4 deaths. Tragic. One of them, a dear family friend of ours. 921 cases today in total. No community spread for over 100 days. Leith, 100 days. New cases today, none. Active cases today, how many? One. Patients in hospital, none. As good a set of numbers you could possibly wish for in a pandemic. As good a numbers. SA Health, government, police, collectively, no drama. Our reward, this is our reward, this is the state's reward, this is your reward, SACA members' reward, and it'll be Crows and Port next year. 35,000 crowd cap for the pink ball Ashes test. That's the Strikers game, New Year's Eve. They normally fill that one out. Plus you have to wear a mask. So I don't know, 40 degrees, day 2, 6 hours sitting there.
Yeah.
If you're not drinking, make sure you get some fluids into you.
Yeah, so in sum, at the Adelaide Oval, we will have the strictest rules and the smallest capacity in Australia.
Yep. Capacity 53,500. Allowed 65%, i.e. 35,000 people, and you have to wear masks. Just hold a bottle of water in your hand. You can drink. You're allowed to drink.
If you have a question out of any of this, or indeed anything you've seen announced earlier this week from SA Health for post-November 23, Professor Nicola Spurrier will be joining us live on 5AA Breakfast after the news at 7:30, and we invite you to ask questions yourself. I'm sure you've got some. 8223 or text us on the Telstra Storm Out Barker text line. More from Stephen Rowe on Sport tonight. Secure your next vehicle now with an instant tax write-off before June 30 at North Point Toyota.
The Barossa Valley is a place where things mature well and the locals really appreciate good vintage, which is why it makes sense to make the vine change and call the Barossa home. Barossa Village in Angaston, Tanunda and Nuriotpa gives you the retirement lifestyle you deserve. 1, 2 and 3 bedroom homes are now available in safe, connected communities under an hour from the city. Mature well and let it breathe at Barossa Village. Find out more at barossavillage.org.
It's value the Australian way at Coles with great fresh specials this week. Like Coles RSPCA approved chicken breast fillets large pack, 100% Aussie and just $9 a kilo. Only at Coles. Offer ends Tuesday, November 23rd.
Adelaide rents are at an all-time high. They've grown by more than 8% over the past year with really strong tenant demand. And in some areas, demand is greater than supply. Landlords regularly receiving over 100 inquiries at their property, and some are even renting before they make it to the market.
Now, we know that our friends at Toop and Toop, they work across all suburbs, and we can tell you right now that they're working with 162 tenants in Norwood, 47 in Prospect, 30 in Bowden, and all of these people are searching for their perfect property in these specific locations.
So if you're thinking of renting out your property or would like to know how many tenants Toop and Toop are working with in your suburb, visit toop.com.au.
5AA's Tech Talk with your host, Adelaide Tech Guy Richard Pascoe. Thanks to Harvey Norman Computers.
Want to make your favourite music sound even better? Harvey Norman is serious about sound. Right now, you can do your ears a favour with the WWII Wonderboom 2, only $98 at Harvey Norman. This has got to be the hottest waterproof speaker priced under $100. Not only is it waterproof, it's dustproof and drop-proof. Wonderboom 2 will crank out 360-degree sound with an added outdoor boost. With one push of a button, wirelessly pair two Wonderboom 2 speakers so you can enjoy your tunes in stereo. Easy play, pause and skip controls are built into the speaker, and you can expect 13 hours of hits on one charge of your Wonderboom 2. That's serious sound for under $100, and at that price, it's a great Christmas idea.
For this great offer, visit your nearest Harvey Norman Computers store.
The Nissan Navara SL Dual Cab 4x4 is in stock right now. Get yours and choose a selected bonus accessories pack worth up to $1,500. Test drive today at your Nissan dealer. T's and C's apply.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
29 after 7, the whole team's got Tom Rehn Fan Club T-shirts on, courtesy of the Port Pirie MFS, the biggest fan of Tom Rehn's sports rap each and every morning. So we thought, what a great place to start for the meat tray today. Thanks to Saints Meat, we're asking you to start a fan club, 8223 0000, or text us on the Telstra Store Mount Barker text line. We'll get to some more of your entries in a moment, but we do have some texts coming through.
One of them relates to the creation of a Nicholas Spurrier fan club. Maybe that's something we could put here after 7:30. Not everyone would want to join it, though. There's a few here, like this one. We're always being told about the huge cost to SA from mental health. I'm keen to know whether Professor Spurrier and her team consider that when they move the goalposts. Everyone I talk to agrees that the continuing restrictions no longer pass the pub test. And one here for you, Will, given your aberrant sartorial trends. Jared says he wants to start a fan club called Skivvies Are Appropriate Formal Wear. There you go.
Whenever, even when someone says the word skivvy, I swallow, like I can feel like it's just restricts my neck. Yeah, it just feels a bit of restriction around the old neck area.
A bit like the skivvy itself.
Exactly, literally the skivvy.
Yeah.
7:30 is 5AA News Time. Professor Nicholas Spurrier will join us in just a moment.
This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A late shower or two, 22 today with the 7:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
The SA Governor will be asked to sack Deputy Premier Vicky Chapman after State Parliament passed a vote of no confidence against her. Speaker Dan Cregan will seek an audience with Francis Adamson today to present the motion which passed Parliament 23 to 22 votes. An inquiry found Ms Chapman had a conflict of interest when she vetoed a major port project on Kangaroo Island. The Premier is standing by his Attorney-General. 2 men have been charged with drug trafficking after their parked car was searched south of the city. Patrols approached the BMW on Spinnaker Circuit at Shido Park around 4 a.m. Meth and cash were seized from the vehicle. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says a 28 and 48-year-old were arrested.
They've been charged with trafficking, a controlled drug and money laundering. So they've been refused bail and they'll go to the Christie's Magistrates Court this morning.
SA's allied health professionals will walk off the job this morning over a new enterprise agreement. They say they're fed up with a lack of staff and resources. Staff from 9 public hospitals, including the Royal Adelaide, Queen Elizabeth, Flinders and Lowell McEwen, will participate in the Stop Work meeting and march to Parliament at 11 a.m. The Premier has declined an invitation to attend. It's a happy Friday across the border. Victorians waking up with almost all COVID restrictions lifted overnight. All caps on venues have been scrapped and there are no limits on private gatherings. Premier Daniel Andrews says the fact that almost 90% of eligible Victorians are now fully vaccinated shows the state is united.
We are united in our belief in the power of doing something yourself for yourself and everyone else. The acts of kindness, the acts of compassion, the acts of solidarity with each other, supporting each other, getting vaccinated for me and my family, but for families I will never meet. That's special. That is really special.
The fresh search in the William Tyrrell investigation is entering a 5th day. Nine's Clinton Maynard reports from Kendall in New South Wales.
Police have given themselves as long as 3 weeks to find something here. They're desperate to find evidence that will give them answers to solving this 7-year mystery. Without the discovery of physical evidence, it's unlikely any charges will be laid. The radar inspection in the home from where William vanished 7 years ago has failed to find anything. So today the focus is on bushland less than a kilometre away.
US President Joe Biden's approval rating is still heading south. According to a new Quinnipiac University poll, just 36% of Americans approve of his performance in the White House, while 1 in 2 respondents say they don't find President Biden to be honest. The Duchess of Sussex's appearance on a daytime TV talk show has aired in the US. Nine's Alison Petrowski reports.
The Duchess of Sussex sat down with her Santa Barbara neighbour Ellen DeGeneres and revealed that their two families recently celebrated Halloween together.
The kids were just not into it at all. Archie was a dinosaur for maybe 5 minutes.
But Lily was a skunk.
She was a little skunk.
It was so cute.
I know, like Flower from Bambi.
The Sussexes have so far shielded their youngest child from the spotlight since her birth in June. This latest TV appearance viewed as a PR move to soften Meghan Markle's image after her bombshell interview with Oprah in March, airing allegations of racism within the royal ranks.
Now turning to 5AA Sport.
This November, grab the Purple Label 2-litre Farm Fresh Fluorio milk to support breakthrough mental health research.
Here's Tom Wren.
Thank you, Mel. Footy first, and former Adelaide captain Taylor Walker is raring to return to pre-season training with the younger players next week. That's around a month earlier than he needs to be there, but he's keen to hit the ground running. Anyone that wants to attend Adelaide Oval will need to be double vaccinated. Outgoing SMA CEO Andrew Daniels telling David and Will people will need to do it to go to any event.
Everybody coming into the Adelaide Oval for any reason, could be a roof climb tour, could be a dinner, could be the Big Bash, the test match, any reason at all, will need to show proof of double vaccination.
Adelaide United's players will train this morning as they prepare for tomorrow night's season opener against the Perth Glory. The Glory have been bolstered by the signing of former Liverpool striker Daniel Sturridge. Perth captain Brendan O'Neill says he's been an amazing addition.
He's got a presence that is just a quality footballer. His touches, his movement, his physical attributes, like he's kept himself in amazing nick.
Yeah, it's going to be a great game. Well, the WTA is threatening to pull all tournaments in China if missing player Peng Shuai isn't found. She's been missing since accusing a former Chinese government official of sexual assault in early November. Serena Williams has added her voice to a growing number of high-profile players concerned for her welfare. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
Got those asphalt works continuing at Myrtle Bank. That's on Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glenosmond Road. Crayford's got speed restrictions on the freeway both directions for works. Get sluggish around the tunnels in the morning. And also look out at Henley Beach. Urgent sewer works continue Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Got cameras today, McGill Road, McGill, and the North-South Motorway at Waterloo Corner. Want to snag yourself a bargain? Shop epic deals on electronics, homewares, beauty and more with Amazon's Black Friday sale. Coming soon at amazon.com.au. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
Heading for a top of 22 today, but with a late shower or two. Then a shower or two tomorrow, 18. Sunday, partly cloudy, 21. Right now, it's 16 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years.
Gliderol.com.au.
You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes to 8. Chief Medical Officer Professor Nicholas Spurrier will join us in just a few moments' time. A little bit later in the morning, Anna Mears is going to be on the program. Really looking forward to this. She was inducted into the Sport Australia Hall of Fame over the weekend. Deserving entry. One of our greatest to have ever done it. Provided some of our great Olympic memories. I think chief among them, her gold medal in London. She might have some others that she'd like to nominate, and did it too against the backdrop of an incredibly devastating injury that we probably don't talk about enough. She was within millimetres of having a clean break in her vertebrae. She was millimetres away from never being able to walk again, but not only walked again, won gold medals.
Yeah, it's one of the most amazing comebacks
It's
ever,
sort of glossed over a bit. Well, everyone acknowledges there was a serious injury, but wasn't a knee.
No, it wasn't like she'd pulled a hammy.
Just
It
a
is
remarkable story.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think Adam Ayres is great. Looking forward to that. That'll be after 8:30 today. Of course, it is to Meat Tray Friday, thanks to Saint Meat, award-winning quality butcher. They've got all your Aussie barbecue needs this summer. Come and see their friendly staff at North Haven or Semaphore, where getting you to start a fan club can be to absolutely anything. And you can enter by calling us on 8223 or 0000 or texting us on the Telstra Storm Mount Barker text line.
We are joined now by Professor Nicola Spurrier.
No,
we'll be joined shortly by
not
Professor
quite there yet.
Nicola Spurrier.
Just waiting on her to call in.
She's tied up, but we have a couple of people on the line.
We have a couple of people ready to ask questions, because this is what we very much want this to be an opportunity for you. And with Grant Stevens, we've done it with him. The Premier does it with us regularly, where we've got plenty of things we'd like to ask, but we love it too when you call in and have your say.
There's a text here.
Please do so.
There's a text here from Brian saying, guys, you were comparing apples and oranges when looking at us in Victoria. Victoria, 90% plus vaccine rates coming from a nightmare lockdown with large community transmission. SA, 85% first dose, no community transmission. Totally take your point, Brian, but the thing that interests us, I know people are talking about the MCG because that's the big headline-grabbing comparison. I'm actually interested in the WWII and the GABA, because our vaccination rate in South Australia is hearteningly much higher than it is in Western Australia and Queensland, yet the restrictions here are more onerous. Well, we have Professor Spurrier, our Chief Public Health Officer, on the line now. Professor Spurrier, thanks so much for joining us this morning on 5AA.
Good morning. And I have to just say right up front, I'm not a footy expert and I'm not a cricket expert either.
No, that's all right. That's all right. We're not going to ask you about,
Good.
the Australia's chances or...
No, please don't do that, but I can talk about the Oval.
Yeah, no, that's great. Well, look, you probably heard what we were saying, Professor, at the start. Given that we're all meant to be working off the same health advice nationally, can you explain why it is that we will have crowd caps at 65% here in Adelaide when other states that have a lower vaccination take-up, like Queensland and Western Australia, are going for 100% capacity?
Yeah, no, I absolutely can explain that. So we're all in a different situation in Australia, and it's because, of course, we've had borders closed. And New South Wales, ACT and Victoria have already had a massive pandemic wave go through. And they had it when they did not have a fully vaccinated community, but they've been able to get their vaccination rates very, very high, much higher than ours, and well over 90% in ACT, and heading that way. I think they're above that in New South Wales as well. Now, so we've got our own situation. I'll come back to that last. And then you've got WA and Queensland, and their borders are still shut, and they will be remaining shut for quite a period of time, particularly Western Australia. I don't think that's they're flagging sometime in January, February. But we're in a quite unique situation. We're probably one of the only jurisdictions or only places in the world where we've been able to hold off any really serious pandemic wave. We've had tiny little clusters that, because of everything people have done in South Australia, we've been able to get on top of. But what is happening on the 23rd, as people are aware, because we're getting to that 80%, we're now going to be opening the borders, and we will be getting cases in our state. Now, we have done as much work as we possibly can trying to predict what will happen. Of course, what happens, and it is difficult to make these sorts of predictions because, as I said, we're probably the one place in the world where we're in this fairly unique situation. But the modelling that we've done, had done through Adelaide University, to try and get the best evidence, shows that we need to keep our foot on the brake for a bit longer whilst we let this wave come into our state. People can see what's happened in New South Wales and Victoria. In Victoria, there's still above 10 deaths every day from COVID. And so we do need to have some level of restriction. So that's absolutely why we've got those numbers capped here. When we get to a position where we're way above 90% and we've had the more of the infection come through in our state, we will be looking obviously at lifting those numbers. And I have to say I was very pleased to hear that the Oval has made a decision to only have vaccinated people in. We'll be looking, once we get past that 90% mark, of having more of that vaccine certificate process to allow those high-risk activities. So hopefully I've made it clear we're just not all in the same position. We're all at different stages. New South Wales and Victoria, people say, look, they're well ahead, but they've had to have a very serious outbreak to get to that point. And we're in the middle there, and then, of course, WA is well off because they're not opening their borders at all.
Professor, one of the elements of the plan announced during the week about reopening the borders that's caused some consternation from people is the requirement that you're from your point of origin is an LGA with a certain rate of vaccination above 80%. Can I just ask why that was ever an element of thinking, given that, I mean, there's cross-pollination between LGAs, people can move freely between them. Why is that a factor?
Yeah, so nothing's perfect, right? But if you imagine you've got a dam and a dam wall and you've got the water behind it, we could just open the whole thing up and have the disease really flood in. So we were trying to work out how we could do it in a more gradual way. And just to explain how we're doing that, is a couple of things. We're only allowing people who are double vaccinated to come into our state. We're requiring them to have a test within 3 days of coming into South Australia, and then there'll be a group that has to have a test that come as they come across when they come into our state and done here. So all of those things are done to try and, as you will, open the floodgates a little bit more slowly. And then we were looking at different ways of how do you make a determination of where there might be more disease or not. And rather than go, look, we'll have a look at which LGAs have more cases and which are going up and which are going down, which is really complicated, and there's no national database to do that. What we decided was, well, we'll look at LGAs in terms of their vaccination rates, knowing that if it's above 90%, that will be much more likely to have lower rates of disease in that LGA. Now, we'll be using the Commonwealth LGA breakdown in terms of the vaccine coverage, but we're very aware, because, of course, I've got a team of epidemiologists very into data, that if you don't have the right denominator, if you don't know the right population size for that LGA, then it might misrepresent the vaccination rate. And the Commonwealth database uses 2019 data. Now, you will imagine that since 2019, a lot has happened with the pandemic. Lots of people have decided they don't want to live in the middle of, say, inner city Melbourne, and they've had a bit of a sea change. So when we've spoken to our colleagues in Victoria, for example, we know that the population in the middle of the city is lower, and they don't have all the students living there anymore. And we know that some of the regional centres have had increased numbers. So you can have, when you try and work out, when you look at the mass, that means that the LGA of Melbourne might look low, but it's actually higher, and some of the regional areas may be slightly inflated. So we've done a lot of work talking to our interstate colleagues so that we've adjusted for those things in those particular LGAs, and more information will be available about that hopefully on our website later today. But that's really, hopefully I've explained to you a little bit of the reasoning behind it. And the thing is, since we were looking at this quite a number of weeks ago, as we were planning, those interstate LGAs, their rates have really increased anyway. So my last look at this was that they're just about all over the 80% to 90%. So I don't think there's going to be. I think it'll all work out in the wash. And we shouldn't have any problems with people coming over. It's just that there will be a group that have to have testing done.
Okay, well, that's good news. Professor Spurrier, we've got some listeners with some questions for you as well, starting with Cheryl, who's in Victoria. Cheryl, good morning.
Good morning, how are you?
Good, Cheryl. You've got Professor Spurrier.
Good morning, Professor Spurrier. Just got a question. Living in Victoria, why is it like we had 1,007 cases yesterday and 12 deaths, I should say, and but Northern Territory's only got 19, and you're allowing us in, but you're locking them out?
So you'll have to wait till the 23rd, but at the moment we haven't got our own vaccination rate, 50% mark, that gives us more comfort about how our outbreak will happen here. And the other thing, the very important thing to note about the Northern Territory is that it's been in a remote community and it's involved Aboriginal people. And they're some of the most vulnerable people in our country in terms of COVID, because they often have other health problems, unfortunately, because of that gap in health outcomes. for our Aboriginal and our First Nations people. So that was a consideration for us, because I don't know if you know our geography and our demography, but we do have a large Indigenous population, particularly up bordering our Northern Territory border. So that was taken into consideration.
All right, Rebecca and Gawler, you're on the line with the Professor Nicola Spurrier.
Yes, good morning all. I'm doubly vaccinated, but I know about a dozen very rational people who are definitely not opposed to vaccination per se, but just desperately seeking more traditional Novavax. When will it be available in South Australia? I think it dramatically increased vaccination rates, particularly in the northern suburbs where I live, that people can't find information as to when it's available.
Yeah. So I don't think we know when it will be available, and it's a protein-based vaccine, and it's because it's a very small startup company, and they're having problems getting anywhere near the volume that we will need. So I definitely would not be holding off. I also just would like to say that the AstraZeneca it has an adenovirus basis, and that's again a very traditional way of making vaccines, if you want to look at it from that perspective. But the mRNA vaccines, the actual mRNA technology has been around for some time, and in fact, it's been used in different ways in medicine, and it has nothing at all to do with DNA, and it's called messenger RNA. And it just goes into the muscle cells where the injection is, so it's only very local, and the cell takes it up, and there's a little tiny factory in the cell called a ribosome, and it translates it into the spike protein. And that messenger RNA then just gets chewed up and it's spat out, and it's not in your body anymore. So it's a very, very neat technology. And I guess what I feel, working in health is that we have all sorts of breakthroughs in technology, and we all tend to embrace them. So I find it a bit surprising when people get a bit worried about this, because if it was a new chemotherapy drug, and in fact, you might use mRNA technology in some of those ways, people would go, "Oh, this is fabulous."
Yeah, totally.
So anyway, I just really want to reassure people that the mRNA vaccines are safe. They've been tested. I've had my third dose, and I'm feeling really confident about it. I had no side effects. And I just would caution people saying that the Novavax is sort of the traditional or a natural vaccine, because it's certainly, it's just another different way of having a platform for a vaccine.
Okay, Professor, one final question from a listener for you. Karen in Brighton has called in. Good morning, Karen.
Oh, good morning, Nicola. As a family, we're extremely concerned and worried. We have a 10-year-old grandson who's had a transplant, and he's obviously immunosuppressed.
Yeah.
We have no information as to when he can have a vaccination.
Yeah.
So what do we do? Do we wrap him in cotton wool and we hope for the best and wait for a vaccination to become available? Nobody seems to know when he can have one. So we are just so concerned about having him out in the community.
Yeah, no, I absolutely feel for you. Now, you might know I'm a paediatrician, and exactly the same as you. I'm worried about the patients, the young ones that have heart problems or respiratory problems, or as you said, a transplant and are immunosuppressed. So we are very keen as Chief Health Officers to have the vaccination for younger children in Australia. My understanding is that it's definitely a lower dose, and it's a third of the standard adult dose. And so because it's such a tiny amount, you couldn't use the vials that we use now for vaccinating older children and adults. And so that different formulation will need to arrive in Australia. We are also very hopeful that we will have it before school goes back next year, obviously. So at least we've got this little reprieve because we haven't got kids at school. But and so I can't tell you the exact date. That's entirely up to the Commonwealth. But I'm very, very keen on getting that in as well. And the best thing you can do, I know it sounds like wrapping up in cotton wool, but the best thing you can do is make sure that all the adults are vaccinated that he's interacting with. And I guess the other thing to say is on the 23rd, because we've got such high rates of vaccination now in our community, what we are predicting is that we don't have a huge outbreak, a huge pandemic that is going to be a little bit dependent, of course, on everybody doing the right thing with the QR check-ins. We'll be doing the contact tracing. We have to do a really good job with that. My team's all, ready to go on all of that. and if somebody's told they have to quarantine, they must follow all of those instructions. So if we can do all of those things as a community, we will hopefully not have high rates of disease, and of course that protects your young one as well.
And just finally, Professor Spurrier, given all of the discussion earlier this year about what football fans should do if the ball came towards them, and I'm asking this question seriously, has there been any discussion about what cricket fans should do if the cricket ball comes towards them?
Well, I actually think cricket balls are a lot more dangerous. I think you're setting me up for this question, but you know how fast that ball goes and how hard it is, and you know that if you've got hit in the head, you can have a really serious injury. So from a infection control perspective, no, I wouldn't be worried about that at all. But more from a head injury, yes, big issue.
Well, I mean, in the past, there's been, certainly at the Big Bash, they've given out prizes for people if they catch it. So they're almost encouraging it.
Well, I was allowed to flip the bat last year, but I have not put my hand up to catch any cricket ball.
So you think if there was any sort of advice, it might be more along the lines of everyone should wear helmets as opposed to worrying about having to wash the ball if it lands in their hands.
Absolutely.
Yeah, okay.
Wear your helmet. Exactly.
Good stuff. Well, look, thanks for joining us, Professor, and also for answering the questions from our listeners. It was great.
Not a problem at all. Thank you.
Professor Nicola Spurrier, the Chief Public Health Officer from SA Health. Let's check traffic thanks to Glenelg BMW. If you've got a BMW service inclusive package, you can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Fulham, got a smash on Tapleys Hill Road near Sir Donald Bradman Drive. Henley Beach, urgent sewer works continue there. Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Ashville works continue as well. Myrtle Bank, that's on Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. And got a couple of cameras about today. Arthur Street, Ridgehaven and George Street at Norwood. Renovating? Check out Australia's biggest range of tiles at Beaumont Tiles Grade Street. Now open every Sunday. And Beaumont's Red Hot Clearance Centre also open Sundays on South Road at Richmond. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
The state government is moving ahead, modernising our state and creating thousands of jobs with its record $17.9 billion investment in infrastructure by providing better access to hospitals and healthcare closer to home, giving our children the world-class education they deserve, making roads safer and getting you home quicker, and improving nature-based experiences with our national parks and reservoirs. We're building what matters for all South Australians. Find out more at sa.gov.au. A message from the Government of South Australia.
At Swan Security, we've been keeping Australian homes safe for over 30 years, and we're #1 for do-it-yourself CCTV and video security. Swan has a complete lineup from wireless cameras and doorbells to complete multi-camera wired systems, all viewable and controllable from your mobile phone. And you can see the complete range of Swan's smart home security products now at Bunnings Warehouse. So turn your home sweet home into a home safe home with Swan Security from Bunnings Warehouse.
Now, if you're thinking of a pool, it's not too late to be swimming this swim season. Well, that's exciting.
That's right.
Spots are filling fast at Rainwise Pools. So our advice, act now. And remember, part of the decision process should always be whether the company you're dealing with adheres to the Australian standards of manufacturing and installation. I can see there's a smile on your face, David. You're excited.
I've got to say, this isn't some tawdry pools for comment type situation. Months ago, I got on the Rainwise website. I've been looking at their website for years, and I went, bugger it. We're going to buy a pool. This is going to be our big summer project, and the pool arrives today.
Oh,
and dealing with these
happy
guys...
pool day.
Yeah, I know. How good's that? There's a gigantic hole in the backyard at the moment, waiting for this beautiful 9-metre-long piece of fiberglass to land in it, and I'm so excited about it. I've got to say, dealing with these blokes at Rainwise, they've been an absolute dream. Terrific family-operated business, and the reason I picked them was because of their ads on 5AA. So I just sent an email in, Dave, give me a ring, I'm interested. So I just did it in the same way any other punter would. And the reason I did it was because they've won so many awards. SA's Fiberglass Pool Builder of the Year 2021. Plus also you get a 30-year structural warranty. That should be an absolute must, along with the latest Claw Shield technology. I don't even know what that is, but it sounds important, and I'm going to have some soon.
I want one. I don't even have a pool.
Yeah,
it's not too late to swim this swim season, but you need to get in touch with Rainwise now. Visit rainwisepooladelaide.com.au.
For 37 years, Steinborner Automotive has always been well worth the trip. Now that spring is here, Steinborner Automotive Gawler has stocked up with 40 hand-picked 2018-19 ZB Commodores. Choose from a range of factory edition or special black edition with black roof and black wheels. That's 2018 and 2019 ZB Commodores from $22,990, all with the balance of factory warranty. View all their used vehicles at steinborner.com.au. Steinborner Automotive. It's well worth the trip.
You could easily be living the life, but you'll need to be quick. The 19th at West is selling premium 2, 3 and 4 bedroom architecturally designed homes from just $730K. Stunning homes with a stunning lifestyle. Explore West's green pathways, paddle on the iconic lake, swim at Grange Beach, or play around at the Grange Golf Club. Start building now and move in next year. Hurry, from $730K, they'll sell fast. Visit the19thwest.com.au.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
2 to 8, Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News has the latest weather-wise for us. Amelia, good morning to you.
Good morning, guys. You know how they talk about changeable spring weather?
Yes.
Well, we've got some of it. I've got a bit of a headline for you. If you've got something that's happening tomorrow, never fear. The weather system that we've sort of been watching quite closely, it's expected to sort of bring a hope of rain. It's drifted further north. So, what was on the forecast yesterday for Saturday, maybe anywhere from 8 to 20 millimetres, it's been downgraded. So we're now looking at maybe a shower or two and 2 to 8 millimetres. Still a cool day, 18 degrees though. And getting back to today, well, grey day today as well. Maybe a shower or two. If we do see them, they'll be later today. Could get a couple of millimetres out of that one, 22 degrees the top there. But the headline here really is Saturday. You're going to have to fill up that pool yourself, Dave, because the total's just not as big as
Rainwise provide the water too. That's included. You wouldn't want to pay SA Water for it and turn the tap on.
It's a good sell, isn't it?
No.
So, it just goes to show how unpredictable these spring sort of weather systems are. But I guess for the most part, people are just a bit sick of this rain that we've sort of been having these cooler conditions. So it doesn't look like as much at this stage. But again, if you've got an event on, I know the WWII Festival's on at Adelaide Oval over the weekend. Just keep an eye on the forecast anyway, just to, stay across that. It could change again, but, at this stage it's looking a lot less likely. Sunday's looking drier, 21 degrees, and Monday is my pick of the week, 24 degrees. So cool and some showers around to kick off the weekend, guys, but we will dry out.
Good stuff, Amelia. Thank you. Amelia Mulcahy from 7 News, and it's time for John Blake, thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight, distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
This week we heard there's a plan for councils to start picking up red wheelie bins fortnightly and green bins weekly to force us to put the right stuff in the right bin, which might be a good idea because you can fit twice as much stuff in the green bin.
There's mold on the bread, that's a shame, but I know I'll play the game and put my rubbish in the right bin and recycle. A telephone book goes in the yellow, plastic in the red bin. Yes, oh, there's twice as much the green bin can hold. Yes, there's brown scum and stale cheese, old nappies picked up weekly. Now there's twice as much the green bin can hold.
And that lady from Darwin who went missing from the Medi Hotel has turned up after 4 days. Police couldn't find her, which is strange because Channel 7 found her. Anyway, it wasn't that serious, but she's been charged.
She broke a quarantine.
She was from Darwin town.
Walked out of her hotel.
Was nowhere to be found.
We didn't need to fret.
She hardly posed a threat.
Channel 7 did
an interview with her.
They found her on the spot,
but the police could not.
Ma.
Rule breaker, she hadn't been seen.
Ma.
and tested negative to COVID-19. We're gonna have to stop this panic sometime. Police can then get back to fighting some crime.
Here is a special bulletin. A woman has escaped from a Medi hotel. She is not dangerous and poses no threat to anyone. If anybody sees this woman, feel free to approach her because she is not dangerous.
More from John Blake coming up after 8:30 when we go behind closed doors.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Online, on DAB digital radio and on 1395 AM. Talking Adelaide. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A late shower or two, 22 today with the 8 o'clock news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra Marion have a hydrotherapy pool now on site. Contact Physio Extra Marion or head to physioextra.com.
Vicky Chapman's political future remains up in the air this morning. She's still Attorney-General and Deputy Premier, despite being the subject of an historic vote of no confidence in Parliament yesterday in the wake of the KI inquiry. The Premier is standing by Ms Chapman. Opposition Leader Peter Malinauskas has told the ABC our new Governor will now be getting directly involved.
Today, or at some point in the next few days, there is every possibility that Her Excellency, the Governor of South Australia, is likely to be put in a rather awkward position where she is receiving advice from the House of Assembly that the Parliament has lost confidence in Vicky Chapman, but at the same time being told by the Premier she has done nothing wrong.
Allied health professionals from 9 of our public hospitals will hold a stop work meeting this morning over a new enterprise agreement. They say it doesn't address a chronic underfunding in health and a lack of resources. The industrial action includes a march to the steps of State Parliament at 11 a.m. The Health Services Union's Bron Larkins says the clock is ticking given the state reopens next Tuesday.
South Australians deserve the best care, and that's why HSU allied health workers have no choice but to take action. The SA health system is in crisis now. We call on the government to fix it before they open the borders and create even further crisis.
2 men will front court today, charged with trafficking and money laundering. It follows an early morning drug bust at Shido Park. Just before 4, patrols spotted a BMW parked on Spinnaker Circuit with 2 people inside. Meth and cash were allegedly seized from the vehicle. Breaking the cycle of domestic violence against women and children is the focus of today's White Ribbon Day. We're being encouraged to ask ourselves how we can make a change. White Ribbon Australia's Alan Ball says men need to think about what they can do to end family violence.
What we're calling on all men to think about are the changes they can make in their communities and workplaces to be part of the solution, not just on one day, but every day.
The US will support a global treaty to tackle plastic pollution in the world's oceans. Negotiations for the agreement will be launched at the UN Environment Assembly in February. Secretary of State Antony Blinken has made the announcement while on a visit to Kenya.
By launching these negotiations at the UN Environmental Assembly in February 2022, our goal is to create a tool that we can use to protect our oceans and all the life that they sustain from growing global harms of plastic pollution.
A 1-year-old from Syria has died in a forest in Poland amid a standoff at the border with Belarus. Nine's Carrie-Anne Greenbank has more.
A 1-year-old boy has become the youngest casualty of the migrant crisis on the Poland-Belarus border. Polish medical workers say the toddler died in the forest, where his family had been living for a month. But as the death toll climbs, the political standoff may have just hit a turning point. Belarus has started clearing migrants from the hastily constructed border camps, and hundreds of Iraqis have boarded the first repatriation flight back to Iraq.
Charles and Camilla's tour of the Middle East continues, with the royal couple leaving Jordan and heading to Egypt. The Prince of Wales and Duchess of Cornwall visiting the pyramids of Giza after arriving in Cairo. It's the country's first visit from the English royal family in 15 years. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
This November, grab the Purple Label 2-litre Farm Fresh Fluoro milk to support breakthrough mental health research.
Here's Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. South Aussie Travis Head will front the media today as he looks to lock in a batting position ahead of the first test against England starting next month. Head will captain SA in its Shield match against Queensland starting on Tuesday. Meantime, the Adelaide Strikers women will train today ahead of tomorrow's crucial WBBL clash against the Sydney Sixers. Serena Williams has shared her thoughts to the growing concern over the well-being and whereabouts of Chinese tennis player Peng Shuai. Peng has been unable to be contacted since taking to social media on November 2nd to accuse a former Communist Party official of sexual assault against her. Doubt has been cast on an email supposedly written by her, retracting allegations of sexual assault against a senior politician. Novak Djokovic is also concerned for her safety.
Honestly, it's shocking, that she's missing. I mean, more so that it's someone that I've seen on the tour in the previous years quite a few times. So, I mean, there's not much more to say than hope that she'll be found, that, that she's okay.
On court, Spain's Garbine Muguruza has capped off a brilliant 2021 with her third WTA title win after taking out the finals event in Mexico with a straight sets victory against Annette Kontaveit. Well, the A-League season gets underway tonight with the Brisbane Roar away to Melbourne City. Adelaide United will begin its season tomorrow night against the Perth Glory in Perth. And in the NBA, Aussie Josh Giddey has racked up 14 points and 11 rebounds in Oklahoma's 12-point win against Houston. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Glenelg BMW is now open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today.
At Fulham, got a smash on Tapley's Hill Road near Sir Donald Bradman Drive. Got heavy delays there. Henley Beach urgent sewer works continue. Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works are continuing Cross Road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Haven't got cameras today. The North-South Motorway, Waterloo Corner and Rundle Street at Kent Town. The King end of year sale is on now. Save up to 50% on Australian design indoor and outdoor furniture. Visit the King Keswick showroom or shop online, kingliving.com today. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
22 for your Friday with a late shower or two. The weekend, a shower or two tomorrow, 18. Sunday, partly cloudy, 21 degrees. Right now it's 15. More news as it happens on 5AA.
At IGA, you'll get everything you need this Christmas. Like Cadbury Favourites 373 grams, $7 each. IGA, where Christmas is made special for locals. Offer ends November 23. Participating IGA stores only.
Now, there's nothing quite like a barbie at home. In fact, I was getting some lights installed to just sharpen everyone's outdoor focus on the barbecue more.
Oh, really?
Had the electrician around yesterday.
Like a shrine.
Absolutely.
You need good
right.
light above the barbie.
Exactly like a shrine.
Because you've got to be able to tell, is it done?
Exactly. You need to see it and you can smell it because the aroma, David, puts everyone in holiday mode.
That's right. Remember the golden rule of barbecuing. If you're cooking with gas, make sure you've got some. Actually, I'd change the golden rule of barbecuing. I would say don't use gas, use charcoal because it tastes 1,000,000 times better. But anyway, use whatever you want. Make sure you've got some sort of heating agent.
Exactly right, whatever your preference is. And if you want to be heaped with praise after everyone's eaten, get all your Barbie goodies from Saint Meat at North Haven or Semaphore Road, just by the beach.
Now, this guy, Shannon, the owner, cracking bloke, he started Saint Meat when he was just 19 years old. He had a vision and he's pursued it. You only have to go into this store and meet the friendly staff to see why the locals keep coming back.
Both Saint Meat stores, they're stunning with an incredible display of fresh beef, poultry, sausages, lamb, pork and small goods made in-store daily, straight out of the Saint oven.
It's Barbie season, make the most of it. Visit Saint Meat or go online for 7-day delivery options.
What starts with A and ends with E? Supplements for you and me.
FIVEaa health supplements are now available at leading chemists and health food stores nationwide. Ask for FIVEaa at your favourite pharmacy.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
The Nissan Navara has landed. It's got a 3.5-tonne brake towing capacity, 1-tonne payload, and an intelligent off-road around view monitor. Contact your Nissan dealer today. T's and C's apply.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
11 after 8, breaking 8 coming up in just a moment. We'll wrap some of the stories of the morning thereafter. Give you some more information about our RAA road trip. Entry's open today, so you can get amongst it and possibly not just have a holiday, but be our ambassador out there on the road. Then after 8:30, Anna Mears will join us on the program.
Well, clearly one of the biggest stories in the country right now is the question of vaccines and whether they are compulsory or not in different workplace settings. We've got a situation here in SA where teachers, police, AMBOs, everybody who works in SA Health has been told they have to be doubly jabbed. The same has happened with Australia's two biggest retail employers, Coles and Woolies, who both announced a couple of weeks ago that everybody has to be vaccinated there. Well, this is a big story. John Paul Drake, the director of Drake's Supermarkets, has put up a statement to his many staff on social media overnight saying that if the government imposes a mandated vaccination direction for the supermarket industry, they will certainly abide by it, but that as far as they're concerned at the moment, they're going to let people decide. They're not going to compel their staff to do it. And he's quite forthright in what he says. Not everyone will agree with it. In fact, there might be some people who are saying, well, hang on, what are your vaccinated staff going to have to say about this? But he has gone full-blown down the path of choice. He says, I'm not going to put my team in a position where they have to choose between autonomy over their bodies and their ability to earn a living. He says we have over 800 team members out of our 5,500 strong workforce in our 10-year club. That's Drakeys, to use the term, who've worked for us for 10, 20, 30 and 40 plus years. They've stuck by us when we changed from manual ticketing to computerised systems, 5.5-day work weeks to 7-day trading, and most recently copped abuse while working on the front line during the pandemic. After years of friendship and hard work, I'm going to turn around and tell them that if they don't get vaccinated, they won't have a job. My team, who worked through the worst of the pandemic with no vaccine, are being told that it's no longer safe for them to work. He concludes, if my team chooses not to be vaccinated, something that doesn't affect their performance or ability to do their jobs properly, I 100% respect and support their decision because loyalty is a two-way street. So there you go. Who knows? There might be a few ex-SA Health employees, ex-cops, ex-AMBOs,
ex-Adelaide Oval.
Ex-Adelaide Oval staff doing night fill and manning the checkouts at Drake's in the coming months. Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
Interesting position to adopt publicly and forcefully.
I wonder, though, will all their customers go, that's great? Or will some of their customers go, hang on a minute, I don't like the caller before who's immunocompromised. And this is where people who are immunocompromised don't like this opt-in, opt-out nonsense when it comes to vaccines. Because you're much more likely to pass it on if you're not vaccinated.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is where some people might go, well, actually, I think that's a bit too laissez-faire an approach, and I'm going to go to a supermarket that's a bit more forthright about it. That could be one of the things that happens. And look, Drake's is a great business, but not everyone is of the view that this is a sort of make up your own mind scenario, because the basis on which some people are making up their own mind is laughably wrong.
15 after 8, let's review some of the developing stories of the morning, including the very sad story of a fatal crash in the southeast.
About 3:50 yesterday, police and emergency services were called to the Princess Highway at Millicent after a Ford sedan had collided with a Stobie pole. So sadly, the driver, who was the sole occupant, a 70-year-old woman from Hawthorne Dean, has died at the scene. So the Princess Highway was closed and reopened about 11:30 last night. Major crash officers attended the scene and they're investigating the cause of that crash. So the woman's death is the 88th life lost on South Australian roads compared to 77 this time last year.
88 lives lost on South Australians' roads this year. Sunday is the World Day of Remembrance for road trauma victims. We've had too many this year.
We have.
Allied health professionals from 9 of our public hospitals will hold a stop work meeting today over a new enterprise agreement. They say it doesn't address a chronic underfunding in health and a lack of resources. The industrial action includes a march to the steps of State Parliament at 11 a.m. Fuel Watch, thanks to the excellent people at Glenelg BMW, formerly the wonderful people at Dave Pot Oil, the same people at the same location. Open on Brighton Road. Book a test drive today. Petrol prices have dropped a bit. Now's a good time to fill up. The average petrol price is in the sort of high $40s. Keep an eye out if you're in Bridgewater, though. Petrol $1.69 along Mount Barker Road. You can do better than that. Kensington Park, Payneham and Hectorville also copping some high prices today. They're in the $1.55 range. Kilburn is the winning suburb this morning. Head to the Woolworths Caltex on Prospect Road to snag petrol for a cheap $1.45 per litre. Now, David, this is exciting. We've been building up to this moment with the RAA road trip.
Yes.
Talking about places to go. Putting together an itinerary for two of our listeners, plus their partner or family. Mine's to the Limestone Coast, and David, yours is to KI. A
lot of beautiful B&Bs on KI.
They are. Dust and truck free.
That's right.
You know what you don't want next to your B&B? The rumble of a forestry industry.
No, you don't want trucking movements. And you won't get them because they didn't get the green light, the old deep sea port.
Yeah.
Anyway, that's not the subject of this excellent RAA competition. All the accommodation and experiences are on us and the RAA, and they'll get their motoring experts to get your car road trip ready. The winners only have to go and have fun and also be our ultimate road trip correspondent. So you get to chat with us every day. Come on the show, tell us what's going on, and have a bit of fun.
Yeah, exactly right. And people have been asking us for a week now, okay, it sounds great, but how do you get into it? Well, from this afternoon, you'll be able to head to FIVEaa.com.au. You click on the win page, and then you just tell us why you deserve to be sent on the ultimate road trip. Then next week, we will announce 2 lucky winners to be selected. So while people contemplate that, put it in the diary this afternoon, win page, FIVEaa.com.au. Let's wrap up our itineraries.
Yep. One of the most stunning features you'll find anywhere in SA is Admiral's Arch and remarkable rocks. Now, the clue's in the name, with those boulders telling the story of 500 million years of natural erosion with their incredible shape. And look over the edge and into the water, and you'll see dozens and dozens of fur seals.
Yes, and the winner of the world trip will spend one of the nights in the town of Penola. Penola might be the most beautiful town in South Australia.
Yeah.
The historic little town sits on the edge of the Coonawarra and encapsulates everything that is great about country towns in SA. Nice people, beautiful food, steeped in history. Was the home to Mary MacKillop, of course, the first ever Australian saint meet.
Yes.
No connection.
No relation.
And the impact that she's had on the town is still obvious to this day.
So get into it, folks. You get a free trip and you get to be our roving reporter. Head to FIVEaa.com.au, click on the win page, submit your entry, and before you take your ultimate SA road trip, let RAA take care of the car.
All right, let's check traffic. Do you have an existing BMW service-inclusive package? We can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Fulham, got a smash on Tapley's Hill Road near Sir Donald Bradman Drive. Henley Beach, those urgent sewer works continue. Seaview Road near Sea Avenue, and Murderbank got Ashford Works crossroad between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Look out for detours. Busy on the drive in Richmond Road, Railway Terrace to South Road, and look out for cameras. Gage Street, Firle, Osmond Terrace at Norwood. Amart Furniture's massive Black Friday sale is on now. Save up to 50% off a huge range of sofas, living, dining and more, in-store and online at Amart Furniture. Limited time only. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Rowie Sport Show.
Today in SA, no community spread for over 100 days. Patients in hospital, none. As good a set of numbers you could possibly wish for in a pandemic. Our reward, 35,000 crowd cap for the pink ball ashes test. Plus you have to wear a mask.
4 p.m. weekdays.
40 degrees, day 2, 6 hours sitting there. This is just the start of it. Clearly our state wants everyone vaccinated. Why aren't we capacity?
Rowie Sport Show on 5AA.
The new Nissan Navara is the ultimate work vehicle. Built tough with advanced tech to get the job done. Speak to your local Nissan fleet experts today about tailoring a vehicle solution for your business needs.
Peter Shearer Menswear is the brand with the brands. For more than 50 years, our experience has put us ahead of the latest fashion trends. And as the largest independently owned menswear brand in South Australia, we'll match any genuine price on identical items. But most importantly, our staff are helpful and understand all body shapes are unique. The Peter Shearer Menswear commitment to ensuring customer satisfaction means we give right and honest advice. Always. Peter Shearer Menswear. Rundle Mall, Glenelg, Mount Barker, Gawler and online.
Gummersall Wines, they know how to make great wine and they know how to make your festive season tick along too. How about this? They're offering 5AA listeners a special deal. You get 30% off.
Yeah, and look, I've got to say, Will, a lot of these ads, you need to do the research. I prepared for this ad by drinking 12 bottles of Gommersall Shiraz. I did. I ordered them online. No. I did over a period of weeks, indeed months.
Shirtless?
Yeah, I think after bottle number 2. But I bought a dozen bottles of the Gommersall Shiraz, absolutely superb stuff. Did you say the 30% off bit?
Yes, I did.
Okay.
How good's that?
Barry White, not the singer, the winemaker, he's gone through his cellar and chosen a selection of current and back vintages, and he's offering them at prices rarely seen for this level of quality Barossa wine.
So you get to choose from Riesling, Shiraz, back vintage wines, and now Magnums too. They're the big 1.5 litre bottles. Just go to the online shop at scummersalwines.com.au, and when you check out, enter the code FIVEaa. That's FIVEaa, and you'll save 30%.
And look, there's also free freight for all orders over $300. So stock up in time for Christmas. Take advantage of this amazing offer, and really, the wine is absolutely superb. Very reasonably priced too. There's a whole range depending on what your price point is. Just go to Gomersall Wine's website for this special 5AA offer. Visit gomersallwines.com.au.
If a new in-ground pool is on your family's radar, do the wise thing and talk to Rainwise Pools. Wise? Because Rainwise Pools are a family-run and operated business with strong family values at the core of everything they do. Wise? Because Rainwise Pools have won multiple awards here and nationally. Wise? Because Rainwise Pools offer a 30-year structural and the new Claw Shield technology on all fiberglass pools. Be pool wise. Visit rainwise.com.au. 2021 Fiberglass Pool Builder of the Year.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
23 minutes after 8. A lot gets spoken about society at the moment about divisions, David.
No, it's too much division, Will.
People are being divided.
Yeah, exactly.
And generally speaking, it's a bad thing. But in some instances, I think it's right and appropriate and should be encouraged. And such is the case when it comes to 5AA listeners getting things that others can't.
Yeah, exactly.
They tend to be, most of the research tells us that 5AA listeners are smarter, they're better looking,
Dead set.
they live longer.
Yeah,
they also get access to great deals. So what we've got for you this morning, we just heard about Gomersall, 30% off. You have to enter 5AA when you check out. 5AA, and you get 30%. That's remarkable.
Yeah.
So here's what we're going to do. We're going to give some free wines to a listener, 1 carton of free wine to the 30th listener through right now on 8223 0055.
Are we going to put 30 listeners to air?
No. Andy's going to count them up out there working hard in his I Love Tom Wren t-shirt.
Like a lizard drinking in there.
Exactly right. So 30th caller through will get the carton of Gomersall wines to celebrate their 30% off for 5AA listeners. And I would encourage every business in South Australia to start segregating our fine state into the people that listen to 5AA and those that don't.
Oh, for sure.
Don't you think?
Yeah, absolutely. Yep. Hey, you mentioned Panola before. There's a really interesting article in the latest edition of Vogue. Not that I normally read it. I only read it because it was linked on the Oz's website yesterday. They've done a list. The 9 Australian towns you must visit before you die. 2 of them are from South Australia.
Is that right?
So a national list.
So Panola's one?
No.
Oh.
Guess. Try to guess which 2 towns in South Australia would be on Vogue's list.
Victor Harbour?
No.
Port Lincoln?
No. I'll give you a clue. One's Adelaide Hills, one's in the Barossa.
Oh, okay. So, like, towns.
Yeah, towns. What do you mean, like towns?
No, I thought Adelaide Hills was a region.
Oh, okay.
You mean like a
town in the hills that you have to visit.
What was the other one?
I'll give you a clue. Das ist gut.
Loberthal.
Harndorf.
What am I saying? Harndorf. I pictured Harndorf. But German people like lights too.
Yeah, that's right.
And where's the other one?
Angaston.
Oh, really?
Yeah, Angaston.
Oh, Angaston. Nice.
Yeah.
No one needs to know
Angaston.
about Harndorf. Everyone knows Harndorf. Like it's kind of...
Yeah.
It's not a secret to anyone who's ever been to South Australia, Harndorf, I don't think.
No, it's funny. When you talk to people in the state, the only 2 places they know outside of Adelaide generally, apart from all the wine regions, but they say, oh, we went to Glenelg and we went to Harndorf.
Yeah, that everyone does. And how about how I actually combined Harndorf and Loberthal for a moment there and said Hoberthal? I think I'm in Christmas mode, David.
Get out there and get a bratwurst in here.
I'm in Christmas mode.
Have you ever had currywurst?
Yes.
This thing they do in Germany.
Yeah.
Just bratwurst with curry powder on them.
Yeah.
Apparently it's great. I've never tried it. Anyway.
All right. Now,
Tom from Fullerton.
Tom in Fullerton has called in. Tom.
Yes.
You, my friend, are the 30th caller through. You've got a carton of Gomersall wines coming your way. How did you manage to time it so well, Tom?
I was listening to you this morning, driving to work, and I was just ready to order some, so I pulled over and started ringing. Got through. Thank you very much.
Tom, well done, Tom. You're a superstar, and you've got those wines coming your way. Congratulations to you. Big thanks to Gummersaw Wines for privileging those that deserve to be privileged, 5AA listeners. And again, if you are a car dealer that wants to give free cars to 5AA listeners, if Adelaide Oval only wanted to open up next year to 5AA listeners, these are all initiatives I think have merit.
Yeah, well, if we get the vax rate up between now and December the 14th, who knows? Maybe the difference between, what is it, 35,000 and 53,500, maybe all those tickets we give them away on air.
I think we should.
Yeah.
I think there's a precedent that's been established here.
The next 18,500 callers through.
Yeah, that'll make Andy work. 27 after 8, 5AA news coming up. We'll be back shortly.
Leon Biner.
We are on track to open the borders from next week, despite low vaccination rates in several communities. Regional communities are lagging in vaccinations.
9 till 12 weekdays.
Our Chief Public Health Officer says that she's concerned about those areas ahead of the state border reopening. She's also saying that authorities are going to go into communities where COVID-19 outbreaks occur, test and vaccinate.
SSA as Leon Biner. SSA as AA.
An important message from Australian Motors Group. It's time to get going, Australia. We're keen to keep our economy moving forward. Whether you're a small or large business, we make it easy for you to order a huge range of vehicles, including Mazda, Suzuki, Isuzu Ute and Mitsubishi. From 1 to 500 fleet vehicles, Australian Motors is geared to make it happen. Act now. Order your fleet vehicles for end of financial year 2022. Get in touch with Matthew or Jody today. AustralianMotors.com.au.
What would you say if I told you that you could retire in just 5 years? 5 years. MBA Financial Strategists can design you a retirement plan. It will help you plan to maximise your super and bridge the gap between what you have and what you'll need. It's called Retire in 5, and you can start the clock today, so you can retire when you want to retire. Start with a free consultation with MBA Financial Strategists. Retireinfive.com.au. See website for T's and C's.
Be swept away by Aussie rock with a twist on an epic scale. This is going to be awesome. For one night only, Aussie rock legends The Angels and the Adelaide Symphony Orchestra will rock your world. They're calling it the Symphony of Angels Spectacular, where you can experience the Angels' greatest works from their 4 decades career, perform live, backed by a choir, in a 20-song extravaganza. Under the musical direction of Maestro Rob John, the Symphony of Angels features more than 50 musicians, including the Brewster brothers, John and Rick. John was in the other day, along with frontman Dave Gleeson, as well as Nick Norton and Sam Brewster. The ASO's Festival of Orchestra dives into many Australian orchestral firsts, so don't miss this unique rock meets symphony spectacular with the ASO at Festival of Orchestra, Friday, December 3, 8 p.m. at the Adelaide Showground. Book now at aso.com.au.
Bob Burns Blinds sensational spring sale. Sensational deals on exterior and interior blinds. Great prices on InvisiGuard security doors and motorisation. Visit us today for your free measure and quote. Bob Burns Blinds. Made local, made to last.
Good times start at Sip and Save. Johnny Walker Red Label Scotch, Smirnoff Red Vodka or Captain Morgan Spice Gold 1 litre bottles are amazing value at $49.99. Pick up a 24-pack of Hahn Superdry for $45.99 or a Great Northern Original Lager 24-pack just $47.99. We've got 1 hour delivery in selected areas. Download our app and start shopping. For more great specials, go to sipandsave.com.au. Prices may vary in country areas. Start at Sip and Save.
5AA Breakfast is streaming live right now. To watch, simply head online to 5AA Facebook or search 5AA on YouTube. This is Adelaide's 5AA.
A late shower or two, 22 today with the 8:30 news. I'm Mel Usher.
Physio Extra hands-on physio at 6 locations. Even more convenient now with online bookings at physioextra.com.
Attorney General Vicky Chapman's political future hangs by a thread. She's still part of the Marshall Ministry, despite being the subject of a vote of no confidence in Parliament yesterday in the wake of the KI inquiry. Shadow Treasurer Stephen Mulligan says with the Premier standing by his deputy, the Governor will now become involved.
Unfortunately, because Vicky Chapman has refused to resign, because Stephen Marshall refuses to sack Vicky Chapman as a minister, it's now being left up to the Governor to consider what action should be taken. We should never be in this position. Vicky Chapman should have done the right thing and resigned, and if she didn't, the Premier should have shown some spine and some leadership and sacked her.
Speaker Dan Cregan will take the issue to Governor Francis Adamson today. Allied Health hospital workers are frustrated with a new enterprise agreement and will hold a stop work meeting this morning. They say the agreement doesn't address ongoing resource issues and working conditions and doesn't provide enough of a safety net for when the state borders reopen on Tuesday. Health Services Union Organising Coordinator Bron Larkins says there's a march along North Terrace this morning.
From 11am, HSU allied health workers will be marching from the University of Adelaide to the steps of Parliament House, where we'll be calling on the Marshall government to come out and to address the HSU allied health members. We invite the public to come along and join us in this action to have a better healthcare.
Thousands of high school graduates will descend on Victor Harbour this weekend for the annual Schoolies Festival. The festivities were called off last year due to the pandemic. This year it's being billed as a COVID-safe event with QR code check-ins and 2 full fence zones for social distancing. There's been a drug bust at Shido Park. Senior Constable Jen Cullinan says just before 4 this morning, patrols spotted a BMW parked on Spinnaker Circuit with 2 people inside.
Police spoke with the occupants and conducted a search of the car, during which they found an amount of methamphetamine and an amount of cash inside the car. So the driver, a 28-year-old man from Christie's Beach, and his passenger, a 48-year-old man from Seaford Meadows, have both been arrested.
The pair have been charged with trafficking in a controlled drug and money laundering and been refused bail ahead of a court appearance today. The only body ever recovered from the doomed warship HMAS Sydney has finally been identified, solving a decades-long maritime mystery. Nine's Eliza Edwards has more.
80 years to the day since HMAS Sydney sunk off the coast of WA after a surprise attack by a German warship during World War II, the only body ever recovered from the crew of 645 who were lost has finally been identified. A DNA breakthrough leading researchers to name the unknown sailor as Thomas Wellesby Clark, an able seaman from Brisbane, closing one chapter of the worst maritime disaster in Australian history.
And one of the most anticipated albums of the year is out today. Adele's 30 hit streaming services at midnight. Now turning to 5AA Sport.
This November, grab the Purple Label 2-litre Farm Fresh Fluorio milk to support breakthrough mental health research.
And it's over to Tom Rehn.
Thank you, Mel. Australia's cricketers are quickly turning their focus from the explosiveness of T20 to the Test arena with the Ashes series drawing nearer. Pat Cummins, Josh Hazlewood, Mitchell Starc, Steve Smith and Dave Warner will all back up from their World Cup win when they take on England at the Gabba next month. Spin bowler Adam Zampa says he expects Australia to retain the urn.
I really think that Australia will win that series pretty easily. As I did say, it'll be a tough series, but I think with the experience that we've got and probably the inexperience that they have with their batting, it's going to be an Australian win.
Just weeks after announcing his retirement for the second time, Giants ruckman Shane Mumford has nominated for next week's AFL draft. It paves the way for him to join GWS next year if they have any injuries to their ruck stocks. Cameron Smith is only 4 shots off the lead during the opening round of the RSM Classic on the PGA Tour. He fired an opening round 6 under 64. Sebastian Munoz from Colombia leads at 10 under. In the English Premier League, Leicester manager Brendan Rodgers has squashed reports he's set to take over at Manchester United.
Firstly, it's really disrespectful for you to ask the question when you have a manager in place, a good manager and a good man who's working at the club. And secondly, I can't really comment on it because it's something that's not real.
Meantime, Manchester United winger Jesse Lingard has reportedly turned down another new contract offer at Old Trafford. And that's the 5AA Sport.
Now checking 5AA traffic.
Do you have an existing BMW service inclusive package? You can book your next service at Glenelg BMW.
At Henley Beach, urgent sewer works on Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Myrtle Bank, asphalt works are continuing cross road between Fullerton Road and Glen Osmond Road. Detours and restrictions in place. Maylands expect delays. Port Rice Road at McGill Road for the intersection upgrade. And slow going this morning, Grange Road, East Avenue to McDonald Avenue. Got cameras Gage Street, Firle, McGill Road at McGill. Tomorrow only at Super Cheap Auto. Get 20% off in-store and online. Sale starts tomorrow at Super Cheap Auto. T's and C's and exclusions apply. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Now the 5AA forecast.
The all-new Audi Q5 Sportback has arrived. Test drive it today at Audi Solitaire in Hawthorn.
22 for your Friday with a late shower or two, 18 tomorrow, a shower or two, then up to 21 on Sunday. Right now it's 15 degrees. More news as it happens on 5AA.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
Yeah, the weekend's just around the corner. It is the 19th of November today, which our Alberton correspondent Dave Lloyd informs me is Australian Music T-shirt Day today. He looks forward to finding out, David, what
Today?
Today's the day.
Damn.
He says what I look forward to seeing what David is sporting later. That is, of course, if he is wearing a T-shirt later.
Well, bit cold today, Dave. I'm not a weirdo.
23 minutes to 9.
Pendleton leads. Mears tries to jump her down the back straight, and she's got her on the outside. Anna Mears goes to the lead. Pendleton, I think, is a spent force. It's Anna Mears' gold, Rick. It's Anna Mears winning gold.
Well, I think it was the greatest moment of that Olympics and one of the great moments in Australian Olympic history. Anna Mears winning gold. She won medals in four consecutive Olympic Games, the only Australian to have done so, and has now, over the weekend, been made one of Australia's newest members of the Sport Australia Hall of Fame. And she joins us now on 5AA Breakfast. Anna, congratulations to you.
Thank you very much. Thanks for having me on.
Where does that one sit for you, that particular highlight?
London?
Yeah.
Oh, it's pretty high. Pretty high. I kind of put it on par with my silver in Beijing and carrying the flag in Rio. It's there's not much that supersedes it. There was a lot of pressure, a lot of expectation, and a lot of preparation going into the strategy and execution of trying to secure that win and that gold medal. So against one of the best, or the best in the world, in Vicky Pendleton.
Yeah. Well, I was saying before, Anna, that it feels like a lot of people don't realise just how very, very serious that accident was and what its actual impact on you could have been.
Yeah, well, I mean, it was almost lost on me too, up until a point. So I think my youth and naivety definitely helped. But as a young 24-year-old, to learn to be 2 millimetres from a clean break, which at best would have left me, quadriplegic, was a big shock. And really hits home when instances like my rival Christina Vogel from Germany suffered a similar accident and was paralysed. So there are cases where the body can be very robust and otherwise very fragile.
I read with interest that you said that you think that injury actually ended up prolonging your career. Explain that to me.
Absolutely. Yeah, absolutely. I'd been at the Olympic Games and represented Australia prior to my accident in Athens, and I was desperate to be there again in Beijing. And I think my accident and the subsequent recovery and a lot of the things that I learned about myself and my sport and my life really gave me a perspective on how rare and how much value I placed on what I was doing and who I was doing it with. And, 9 of my 11 world titles came after my accident. I learned a lot about performing under my capabilities, even though I was already an Olympic champion. And I was more excited about really seeing where I could go and what I could achieve after my fall, given what I'd learned in that time. And I think I was able to really kind of put that down, which is cool.
Yeah. Do you have any concerns about where the sport's at the moment in Australia? We've got the second consecutive year the Tour Down Under is going to be cancelled here in South Australia, which is really disappointing because it's a great entry point for normal people that don't necessarily have a natural connection with it or aren't competitors in it. How are you feeling about the whole spectrum of cycling?
Yeah, it's a big challenge for the new race director and Stuart O'Grady, and the South Australian Tourism Commission are actually doing a really good job in putting on the cycling festival with domestic riders. And it is a missed event for sure. South Australia knows how to turn it on for the Tour Down Under. But, the good thing about cycling is there's so many different platforms to it. There's recreational, there's competitive, there's track road, BMX, mountain bike, cyclocross. Just to name a few of those disciplines. And with Logan Martin winning the freestyle BMX in Tokyo for Australia, that gold medal, is really been a big boost. We also see the sport coming under one unified banner now with Oz Cycling, which for me is really positive for its future. But yeah, it's a tough sport. It's not easy, and I just try to remind people that athletes don't dedicate themselves for 4 years to try and lose a race or not come home with a medal.
Yeah.
It's I think sometimes because we have been spoiled, we forget how hard it is to win.
Hey, Anne, I don't mean to pry. Was that the gentle cooing of a baby Mears in the background we heard earlier?
This is my 4-week-old son, Bill, who's in my arms at the moment. I'm rocking him to try and hope that he stays nice and quiet.
The old work-life balance.
So far, so good. Hey, you mentioned the BMX, Anna. You're one of the greatest ever ride a bike out of this country. Does any part of you ever think, if I was born today, I'd go down the more BMX route?
Well, I started in BMX and I was a national champion at that level.
Oh, well, silly question then.
Well, I was born in the 80s when the BMX Bandit movie came out, so we were
kidding.
all those sort of kids. Now I've got this fear in my head, if I give it a go, I'm going to let go of the bike mid-air, mid-jump. So I think I'm happy with the track bike, which generally keeps its wheels on the ground.
Yeah. Are you still?
Love watching it.
Are you still living here in Adelaide at the moment?
Yeah, I've been here for 20 years.
Yeah.
And I'm in Mile End, and
beautiful.
Yeah, I'm involved with the Port Adelaide Football Club and the Tour Down Under, and taking on a general manager role with the Commonwealth Games for Birmingham next year with the Australian team. So looking forward to behind-the-scenes work there. So I keep busy.
Good stuff. Hey, well, congratulations. Another deserved award coming your way. We love the wonderful memories you've given us on the track and continue to contribute massively in a whole host of fields as well. Anna, thanks for your time this morning.
Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. And Bill says hi.
Yeah. Good morning, Bill.
He's got a big future in radio.
Bill's debut on Adelaide Radio.
More sense to me.
Excellent. The other Sports Australia Hall of Fame inductees over the weekend, Jana Pittman was inducted into the Sports Australia Hall of Fame. You might have heard Mark Viduka, of course, too. 12-time Paralympian, winner of 9 gold medals, Libby Kazmala. Jamie Dwyer, Olympic hockey gold medalist, was inducted. Karen Rolton. Geez, there were some great South Australian sportswomen that were inducted into the Hall of Fame. Steve Monaghetti as well.
Monas.
And Olympic water polo player and coach Tom Hode. Pretty.
You know, one of the most fun articles I ever did in a newspaper, this mate of mine who's just hilarious, a guy called Heath Aston, was a transport reporter at the Telegraph. There was constant problems with how late the trains were running in Sydney.
Mm.
And one night, inspired by several pints of Reshes, Heath Aston came up with this idea. He said, mate, I've rung Steve Monaghetti, who lived in Melbourne. I've arranged for him to fly up to Sydney, and we're going to get Steve Monaghetti to go head-to-head against the 8:13 train from Petersham to Central. And Monas went, yeah, I'd love to do that. And we said, do you want to be paid? He said, no, I'll just come up and do it. Sounds like fun.
Did he win?
He beat the train by 3 minutes, and we filmed the whole thing, and it was a front-page article.
That's great.
And the headline was, faster than a locomotive, and man versus machine, and Commonwealth Games gold medalist beats City Rail, and it was tagged up City Rail's Day of Shame. And then the idiot bureaucrat who was running New South Wales Transport in this exquisite come-in-spinner moment, he did an interview the following day with the ABC. This bloke had a total humour bypass. And he said, well, frankly, any comparison between the performance of an Olympian and our world-class railway network is juvenile and absurd. And he totally bought into it. And then all the mainstream media turned it into a story. But the photo of Monaghetti running around the bend, going through Redfern, was just the funniest damn thing you've ever seen. You know who was in town that day? Rupert Murdoch. And a few blokes had said to me, do you reckon that front page is a bit out there for the big boss? And I said, oh, maybe, I don't know. What's he going to do, sack me? I mean, clearly he could, and ultimately he kind of did. But
but not because of this.
No, that's right. But he came into my office that afternoon, and I went, go Mr. Murdoch. And he goes, all right, Pembo. And he's whacking his hand on the front page. He goes, that front page. And I'm sitting there going, he goes, that is bloody hilarious. And he's going, these useless bastards in politics. He goes, sometimes the best way to make the point is with humour. Not with anger, but with humour. Yep. He goes, everyone who reads this paper, they will be laughing this morning. They'll be laughing at the government for providing such a second-rate service. He goes, a bloody brilliant idea. There should be more of it in papers. I was just walking around going, yes.
Yeah, that's a That must have felt good.
Hung on for another year.
Well, it's an idea before its time too, because imagine that in these days where you can put video up and it goes viral.
Oh, yeah, I know. Well, this was like...
It'd be global.
Yeah, and we had bugger all web traffic.
Yeah,
not like we do now.
exactly.
But it was such a cool idea by Heath.
Great
and
idea.
It looked hilarious.
Okay, it's 14 to 9. Great idea that we've had for our big night of nights at November 26th, Nord Concert Hall. Our carolling night is to get a group of listeners together and have a 5AA listener choir. Jay is one that'll be in the chorus. Jay, good morning to you.
Good morning, gents. How are you?
Good, thanks, Jay. You're not the Jay. You're not the former Premier.
No, I wouldn't admit to that.
Hello, Premier Jay.
So, Jay, what's your singing history?
Well, I've been singing since I was a kid. I'm sort of middle-aged now, but to be honest, I haven't been in a choir since I was in high school. But I've been treading the boards and doing musicals, released my own album, and at the moment I'm doing a show up at Stirling that finishes this weekend called High Fidelity. So, I just really, really enjoy doing it. And when I saw this opportunity, I thought, why not? Give it a go.
Well, better you telling them than me, Jay. If other listeners want to join the choir, what do they need to do?
You just go to the 5AA website and have a look through there, and you'll see a section there to enter to win. So, give it a go.
Well said, Jay. Good to have you as part of the choir, mate. Sounds perhaps potentially overqualified for the choir as Jay. I don't know how the hierarchy of a choir works, having not possessed any talent.
No.
But
you're not going to be in the choir, are you?
You're very quick to agree with that.
Yeah.
I wonder if, Jay, can you be front and centre? Can you sort of be a foremost among the chorus? Is there some sort of, can we make use of Jay's talents?
Don't know.
But we should. Excellent
We're not going
work.
to be in the choir.
Absolutely not.
No.
5AA.com.au, win page, register, and you can be part of the choir November 26th on what will be a terrific night with a whole host of 5AA people, James Morrison. If you always want to go along and do the traditional thing and watch, go to Try Booking. You can still get some tickets. Let's get the traffic information happening thanks to Glenelg BMW. They're now open on Brighton Road, and you can book a test drive today.
Thanks, Will. At Crayford's got a bit of an unusual one. A boat's come off a trailer on the freeway. It's blocking a lane. It's on the up track, so do take care there. Henley Beach, urgent sewer works continue. Seaview Road near Sea Avenue. Crayford's got speed restrictions on the freeway, both directions for works causing delays, especially around the tunnels. And busy on the drive in Grange Road, East Avenue to McDonald Avenue. Cameras today, Arthur Street, McGill, Cavan Road, Dry Creek. Try Krispy Kreme Cinnamon Bites, delivered fresh daily to all OTR stores for a limited time only. At OTR, you're never too far from delicious. Adelaide's most accurate traffic on 5AA.
Did you know shingles can produce a painful, blistering rash that can take up to a month to clear? While most of us recover fully, up to 25% may experience long-term complications. Find out more from your doctor and visit noshingles.com.au. Sponsored by GSK Australia, Melbourne.
Here at 5AA, we're all about supporting local. Race cars, family fun and fireworks. It's all happening at the Adelaide Rally East End Finale, and it's all free. AdelaideRally.com.au. See you there, Sunday, November 28.
Sold by McGain again.
Again, Will.
Yeah, and as you know, David, it's really important to get along to these open inspections because you could miss out.
Again and again and again, as the Cure said. So tomorrow from 11 to 11:30am, catch up with Mike Dobbin and Zoe Ball. They're opening 6 Hill Street, Seacliff Park, just minutes from the beach. What a sensational spot to live. This sounds absolutely sensational. Updated mid-century home with 4 bedrooms plus a studio, 3 bathrooms, renovated kitchen, ensuite, huge entertaining area with views over Brighton Beach, plus an in-ground swimming pool. If you don't want to make the arduous 10-second journey to the beach, you can go to the backyard instead.
You're speaking my language. The auction's December 11 at 2 p.m. Also tomorrow from 12:30 to 1, Mike and Zoe are opening to The Common on Cooperinga Hills. Oh, house with a name. Have you ever lived in a house with a name?
No.
No, me either.
No.
This beautifully presented 4-bedroom home overlooking a reserve features a renovated kitchen and laundry, 2 separate living areas, brand new flooring throughout, pitched entertaining area, and in-ground swimming pool. Gee, seems like everyone's got a swimming pool these days. 595 to 645K.
For all the info, take a look at these properties and all the McGain listings at realestate.com.au.
If you're going to test drive a new car, taking it around the block a few times, it's just not enough. So take a proper test drive at Jarvis Toyota Clovelly Park. The all-new Land Cruiser 300 boasts enhanced luxury and technology, making it a pleasure to drive both on and off-road. With a brand new 3.3-litre twin-turbo V6 diesel engine, it's the most powerful diesel Land Cruiser yet. Rediscover the road and take a proper test drive in the new Land Cruiser 300 at Jarvis Toyota, South Road, Clovelly Park. Proudly celebrating 20 years of great deals.
Building amazing homes is important to Beechwood Homes, and so is the environment. So when you build with Beechwood, you're building a better environment for our kids and grandkids. Around 70% of scrap materials from every Beechwood home is recycled. Bricks, rubble, timber, gyprock and steel, none of it goes to landfill. It's all sorted and recycled. So life really is good. It's even better in a Beechwood home. Take a look at the stunning Beechwood display home in Blackwood Park.
You can trust 9 News is live and local. Weeknights at 5, nightly at 6. 9 News.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
8 to 9. We've got a new segment coming up in a moment. I'm really looking forward to this. But first, we're going to go behind closed doors thanks to Aussie Fast Transport Solutions, interstate freight distribution, warehousing and local Adelaide couriers. Call Aussie Fast, 13 13 64.
And when we get behind closed
13.95, Adelaide's 5AA. This is Tony Pilkington.
Yeah, hello everybody. Welcome along to this afternoon thing that we do, or we did for a couple of years, or thereabouts for the time being. And from next week, the delightful and the easy to listen to and an Adelaide favourite, Jade Robran, will be hosting the afternoon show, and I'll be back filling in for Leon over the Christmas break. But Jade Robran will be taking over and hosting the afternoon show from 12:30 or thereabouts of an afternoon. Jade will be joined by all of the people that you've come to know and enjoy over the last couple of years or thereabouts or so, unless she flicks a few of them. Alrighty, she's open slather if you want to get something off your skirt that's up your jumper and a bit of how's your father on the liver. Give us a call on that number of ours, the 8223 0000 number of ours, and give it a bell. Glenn has given us a call with some memories of Sesame Street. It's 50 years since Sesame Street started. Oh God, we used to love it. G'day, Glenn.
Oh yeah, g'day Pilko. I see Big Bird's had his COVID jab. It was on Facebook. He said he had a sore wing for a few days.
Yeah, Big Bird, he's had his jab. Oh God, we used to love it, didn't we, Glenn? We used to. I used to love Miss Piggy and Kermit.
Oh yeah, I like Kermit and that song he sang about the rainbow. What was that song?
Oh, that's right. Yeah, it's fun being green.
No, that's not a song. Rainbow Connection. That was it. Rainbow Connection. Great song.
Oh right, yeah. I used to really love Bert and Ernie. Oh, I love those two old blokes sitting up in the balcony carrying on.
No, that wasn't Bert and Ernie. That was Statler and Waldorf. Bert and Ernie with, Ernie was the one that sang Rubber Ducky.
Yeah, right. Yeah. Oh, great stuff. And the one that played the drums. Monster. Oh, I loved Monster playing the drums, going crazy and carrying on. Oh,
yeah,
God.
No, that was Animal.
Yeah, righty.
Not Monster.
Oh, well, we used to love it, didn't we? And of course, who could forget the Cookie Monster? Oh, living in that garbage bin, so good. All the characters of Sesame Street.
No, Cookie Monster didn't live in the garbage bin. That was Oscar the Grouch.
Oh, yeah, we loved it. 50 years since Sesame Street started. You've got some great memories there, Glenn.
I sure have, Pilko. But my question is...
Yeah, go on.
Have you ever seen Sesame Street?
5 minutes to 9. Now... David has a skill, one of many skills. This one, we haven't really shared. This is a bit of an off-air thing that we've done ever since we've been doing the show. Because David, as an ex-newspaper editor, still has the creative juice, and likes to come up with headlines, often off-air, for things that are going on. Maybe it's been on the show, maybe it's a news item that's happening in the world. Maybe we've just been to a meeting and he'll say, you know what the headline out of that meeting was?
Don't say it.
No, I won't. But it's a skill that he still possesses. And I said to our producer the other day, we need to put this on the air. We need a daily headline.
Could be about any topic.
David's daily headlines.
All right. Well, I'm going to try to write tomorrow's.
Okay, hang on. I'll hit the theme.
Is there a theme?
Then you give us the headline, okay? It's time for the inaugural David's Daily Headline.
There's a 5% chance you'll see this headline tomorrow. It is Timber Chapman axed as Marshall lumbers towards election.
I can see it.
I love that music.
I can see it in the paper.
I feel like Dan Rather.
You sounded like Dan Rather. I can see that headline. I like what you did with it.
Where did we get the music
excellent. Which Andy does magical
Did
things.
he make that on GarageBand or something?
He literally went out the back. He had a xylophone and some cymbals and
some kettle drums.
He's just amazing what he can whip up in no time. Hey, we're going to announce.
I wonder why you came in with kettle drums.
Yeah, we're going to announce a Meat Tray Friday winner. The Meat Tray, thanks to the excellent Saint Meat at Semaphore in North Haven, will be announced right after this.
The time is now. An opportunity to tell a new and unique story. 88 O'Connell, a connected community with swimming pools, gym, indoor and outdoor dining, fresh food marketplace and high-end retail shopping. 2, 3 or 4 bedroom apartments with unparalleled views to the city, hills, coast and beyond. The long-awaited display suite is now open, showcasing the incredible lifestyle on offer at 88 O'Connell. More than an address. 88 O'Connell, North Adelaide.
Hey, it's Callum. I'll let you in on an Edwardstown Mazda family secret. They also sell used cars. Small to large SUV for work or off-road. Edwardstown Mazda used cars, sell them all. All fully inspected and certified, something to suit every member of your family. So let me ask you, do you still love your car? Take your car in now for a fair price. Sell and buy a pre-owned car with confidence. Edwardstown Mazda.
If the thought of this as a job drives you crazy, you might want a job like this. Here's Chris from ASIC Careers to tell you how.
Thanks, Rowie. ASIC Careers is growing, and we need more drivers to keep our promise of perfect service. So if you want a career that takes you places, get in touch with ASIC Couriers. Don't send it, ace it.
Shop online with Coles for an easier Christmas. You can choose home delivery and we'll bring your groceries to your door. Or choose click and collect and we'll bring your groceries straight to your boot. Shop online at coles.com.au. Coles, value the Australian way. Terms and conditions apply.
Gliderol Garage Doors, adding strength, safety and style to South Australian homes for over 40 years. Gliderol.com.au. You're listening to 5AA Breakfast. David Penberthy and Will Goodings.
A minute away from 9 o'clock. Meat Tray today inspired by the Port Pirie MFS. Port Pizza, as we've come to know it and love it. They've sent us T-shirts, the Tom Wren Fan Club T-shirts. Nobody loves Rennie's sports wrap in the morning like the Port Pirie MFS branch. And so we thought, great idea starting a fan club. We'll make that Meat Tray Friday question. Saint Meat, they've come to the party. Award-winning quality butcher. They have all your Aussie barbecue needs this summer. Get in and see them. They do a great job. North Haven and Semaphore. We're asked you to start your own fan club.
Yep.
Who won the Meat Tray?
Well, I checked. It's only a short drive from Elizabeth Vale to North Haven, but the award is not being given on the basis of proximity but quality. And there can only be one winner, Terry, with his excellent pun about how he lied on the bed looking up at the roof thinking he wanted to start a ceiling fan club. I love it.
Yep, pun gets you a long way in this game.
It does. We've got very low standards here. Good on you, Terry. Big thanks to Saint Meat as well. Good on you guys. Good on you, Shannon.
All right, Leon Biner's coming up. Have a great weekend, everybody, and we'll see you Monday morning from 6.